Manitoba. It is Tuesday, July 15th. We're halfway through the month of July. Thank you so much for being with us here on CTV Morning Live. Ainsley McPhail is live at the Manitoba Museum. They have a lot of really cool things happening there this summer, including some great kids programming and some really neat exhibits as well. She's going to break it down for us. She's also going to tell us how the Canada Strong Pass is making the museum accessible for free. But first, your headlines. Manitoba's wildfires may be slowing in some areas, but the threat is far from over. The province is now preparing for mass evacuations with costs going up and entire communities on standby. As wildfires force more people from their homes, frustration is growing. Some say the evacuation from a Flin Flon care home has been nothing short of chaotic. And now, something that'll make your day. Canada's newest internet sensation is a chubby little marmot living in BC. Of course, he likes to pose for photos. Bringing in Terry now. Good morning, Terry.
My good side. No, this is my good side.
They're all good.
I don't have a bad side.
It is one of the smoky in the building right now. I'm sensing it. How is the air quality this morning?
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? If you don't have that proper filtration system, or if you've allowed your windows to be open, some of that smoke will be seeping into your own space. That's why we've been talking about the importance of keeping those windows closed, even though we had those cooler temps that maybe tempted you to open the windows. With the smoke lingering outside, it might not be ideal. A little bit of rain falling outside this morning. 16 degrees is where we're sitting. North winds 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sits at 96%. This smoke, the warnings at least, have been lifted in many places around the province today. Just the downgraded statements or advisories through parts of the northeast and southeastern corners. Still, as we're looking off to the west in parts of Saskatchewan, you can see that smoke very heavy. And we'll see how things play out because we are expecting some strong northeast winds today. So with that bit of lingering smoke, we might notice some of that being drawn back in again. But the rain will certainly help, and we've got that to wake up to this morning. So there you can see on the satellite image all of the precipitation, just some light rain showers for us, but really active thunderstorms moving just south of that international line. So showers, yes, we'll deal with that rain. We needed it. Lucky us, we're finally getting it. Northern Manitoba, maybe some very speckled and patchy precipitation, nowhere near as organized as what's passing through southern Manitoba. That will be clearing out later on into the afternoon and then continuing through the evening. Very clear conditions. And even for tomorrow, just mostly sunny. A few clouds that we'll notice through there. Brighter day, perhaps through that central part of the province, although I say brighter and when nothing's looking too bright with that haze. 20 degrees, slightly cooler, will remain there below seasonal through the rest of the week until it warms up again this weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Despite good progress battling northern Manitoba wildfires, the province is still preparing for the worst and is setting up thousands of cots for potential evacuations. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew posted this video on social media. That's Kinew setting up cots at the RBC Convention Centre in downtown Winnipeg. It's one of several buildings the province can turn into an evacuation site under its state of emergency powers. One of the communities most in danger is Garden Hill. The only people left there are essential personnel. Fire officials say thick smoke and intense flames are making it difficult to fight. In other areas like Leaf Rapids, Lynn Lake, and Thompson, weekend rain has helped firefighting efforts.
We've had some pretty decent weather to assist us in the firefighting effort, so we're quite confident in the protections that we put in place between the fire and the city of Thompson. Of course, there's always an unknown. You know, the weather can create different situations, but based on what we've done today, we're feeling pretty good about where we're at with Thompson right now.
Thompson has asked residents to fill a pre-evacuation form starting Friday in case they need to evacuate. Nothing that, as of Monday, 11,000 people have completed the form. Sprinklers are also being set up outside homes. There are 122 active wildfires burning in Manitoba as of Monday, and there have been 297 fires in the province to date in 2025. There are already lots of people who have been forced to leave their homes because of the wildfires in Manitoba's north, and some say the evacuation has been far from smooth. As CTV's Danton Unger reports, some Flin Flon residents say a personal care home evacuation has been mind-boggling.
Vincent Gay has been waiting to go home for more than a month.
Sooner the better for everybody here.
The Wildfire evacuee is a resident of the Northern Lights Manor, a personal care home in Flin Flon. Wildfires forced its evacuation in May, and since then, Gay has been at a care home in Carman, waiting for the green light to go home. That green light finally came last week when the Northern Health Region told residents they would be allowed back as of Monday.
We were all excited here and ready to go home.
But the excitement was short-lived. One day later, Gay and other residents received this letter from the region saying their return was being delayed as residents of a care home in Thompson are being proactively moved to the Northern Lights Manor. The letter says this is a precautionary decision due to the air quality and smoke levels in Thompson.
Their choice to bring in Thompson residents instead of letting our own residents in is really heart-wrenching. Mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling.
Annette Banach's grandfather is among the displaced residents of the Flin Flon care home. He's been staying at the Deer Lodge Centre in Winnipeg, hundreds of kilometers away from his family.
He's 92. He has dementia, so he's off and on in his memory, and he's been crying on the phone. It's just heartbreaking.
They aren't alone. Nearly 900 people have signed a petition calling on the province and the health region to allow the Flin Flon seniors to return and find other accommodations for Thompson residents. And now that could happen soon. Manitoba's Health Minister Uzoma Azagwara tells CTV News, "I've also directed the Northern Health Region to ensure that residents of Northern Lights Manor return to Flin Flon in the coming days as quickly and safely as possible." They add plans are in place to begin repatriation in the coming days. For Gay, he says the entire process has been confusing and difficult for residents who just want to go home.
Yeah, it was very unorganized.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
In a statement to CTV News, the Northern Health Region says the temporary relocation of Thompson residents to Flin Flon was a short-term measure in response to the rapidly changing environmental conditions. Officials say residents of the Northern Lights Manor will return to Flin Flon in the coming days. Prime Minister Mark Carney is meeting with his cabinet today to talk about a U.S. trade deal that President Donald Trump suggests is already done.
The deals are already made. The letters are the deals. The deals are made. There are no deals to make.
Speaking at the White House, President Trump said tariff letters sent to trade partners, including Canada, are the trade deals. That letter sent to Ottawa threatens a 35% tariff on Canadian goods. Despite President Trump's comment, Prime Minister Carney has said Canada is working toward a new August 1st deadline to come up with a trade and security deal. The European Union, Japan, Mexico, and other U.S. trade partners are facing the same deadline. Police in New York have caught 4 young people doing this. It's called subway surfing and has become a big problem in New York. There is a drone team dedicated to catching these subway surfers. These 4 boys, who are 12 to 16 years old, were spotted by the drone. The train was stopped at the next stop and the 4 boys were caught. New York Transit officials says they've stopped about 200 subway surfers since 2023. A rather massive marmot in Kamloops is stealing hearts and going viral.
As I was rounding the corner of a pond, I gasped because I see this mega fat marmot.
Marmots rarely catch the attention of Taylor Borth, but this one was too big to ignore and seemed happy to pose for pictures. She believes the marmot is a male that may have been overfed by visitors at the park. Her photos have since gone viral online, with wildlife fans showing lots of love for the chunky rodent. Here's a look now at what's going on McPhillips Street. It looks still dark, slightly hazy over here, as you can see. No issues to tell you about, though, in traffic. If you see problems out there, please let us know. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who is live this morning at the Manitoba Museum, right in front of an iconic diorama. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. The perfect opportunity to explore with activities. And if you're a kid, Canada's Strong's Pass allows you to do that for free, all up into the age of 17. 18 to 24, it's half price all the way until September 2nd. As if you need another incentive to come to the Manitoba Museum. The Little Narwhal activity is another one of them. There are hands-on activities. The augmented reality definitely in the science zone, which is what we're going to be talking about as well, learning about what some of the barriers that they may face. We're also going to be heading to the Planetarium with 2 new shows, including one of them called the Milky Way Live, that the Planetarium staff came up with themselves. So we love chatting with Scott Young while we're here. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be at the Manitoba Museum.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Terry, doing chores is always hard, especially with pets. It may be a chore for the human, but it's playtime for these ferrets. Watch Moon and Nala run and jump and grab onto the sheets as they get placed onto the bed. Looks like their owner is having just as much fun as they are. They're so sweet. Aww. Oh my goodness. Isn't this, look at them playing in there.
Okay, I kind of came around. At first when I saw it, I'm like, no, I wouldn't want rodents in my bed.
I know, I hear ya. But they look like they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah, you're right. Like, aw.
Cute. Well, you need the umbrella today, and that's a good thing.
Yes, it is a good thing. You're right. It's still smoky. I can notice that out here. Of course, we were just talking about that you can smell it even indoors. But the thing about using an umbrella today, a poncho might be a better idea, or in fact, it's a really light rain. I didn't want my hair to get wet. I just washed it. You know how annoying that is. Anyway, the light rain will continue to fall maybe for the next couple of hours, but then later on today, it's probably going to clear out quite nicely, although maybe not the smoke, because these winds, not ideal. They're out of the north right now, 27 kilometers per hour, are likely to shift out of the northeast later today, so still could be drawing in more of that smoke. But 16 degrees to kick off your morning is slightly above seasonal. 13, that would be a normal low temperature. But yes, southern Manitoba, we are waking up to the rain. Again, not complaining about it. We needed it, so we welcome it. It will likely continue for the next few hours, but about midday, we're going to begin to see those clouds clearing, brighter conditions than expected through the afternoon. Northern Manitoba isn't as likely to see the precipitation today, maybe a few scattered patchy showers, but the more organized system is moving across southern Manitoba, a little bit brighter in areas just north of us. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather is brought to you by Destination Dinner Stage, Manitoba's only musical dinner theater.
Good morning. Coming up to 6:15. The Manitoba Métis Federation is once again collecting donations for wildfire evacuees and needs your help to keep its shelves stocked.
We are going through donations like hotcakes.
MMF has set up an evacuation and drop-in center for all evacuees, along with meals and internet cafe and kids area. It has a donations area for evacuees to shop for the things they're missing. But because of demand, it's running out of essential products, especially hygiene items, all sizes of men's clothing and baby needs, including strollers.
We know that there are another 700 people arriving today from the Garden Hill area, and there are several other communities that are looking to evacuate in the coming days. So this is a high demand, and I would say it's higher demand than it was during our first wave at this point.
You can drop off items at the donation center on Ray Marius Road in the St. Boniface Industrial Park, or at the evacuation center on McGregor Street. Millions of Canadians are facing uncomfortable and dangerous air quality, with warnings in effect across much of central Canada, including Manitoba and Saskatchewan. At one point, Canada's largest city recorded some of the worst air quality in the world. CTV's Adrian Gobriel reports on the cause and how long it could linger.
Canada's largest city nearly unrecognizable for those making the commute into Toronto.
It looks kind of like Delhi, maybe Beijing, something very industrial. There's not enough industry in Toronto to warrant this type of smog. Yes, it's like, what is going on that is causing this?
A jet stream is pushing smoke from wildfires in Manitoba and northern Ontario across parts of the country.
The cinders and the ash and the smoke from these fires and bringing it into populated areas.
Toronto's nickname, the Big Smoke, has taken on additional meaning today. Just take a look behind me. Smoke has nearly erased the CN Tower and the skyscrapers from the city's skyline.
This Environment Canada data shows the plume blanketing parts of the country from Saskatoon through Manitoba, Ontario, and into Quebec.
The wildfire smoke actually contains a number of harmful substances and chemicals.
Young children, pregnant women, the elderly, and those with chronic respiratory conditions are being advised to stay indoors.
Someone with asthma, other lung diseases, heart disease, diabetes, even actually someone who's quite healthy but might be active outdoors or working outdoors can be impacted by these exposures as well.
I got allergic rhinitis, so it's definitely not great for me when the quality is like that.
The Swiss air quality tracker IQ Air had Toronto sitting at 5th worst in the world. It sat at number 2 on the planet. The concerning air quality alerts come just as Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa are all under a heat warning.
We'll have 10 days above 30 degrees, and my gosh, we normally for the whole summer have 7. So, and we've got half the summer yet to go. So the heat is very much there.
Models indicate that the smoke could linger over parts of Ontario and Quebec into Wednesday, possibly even Thursday. Adrian Gobro, CTV News, Toronto.
The owner of a duty-free shop in New Brunswick is being forced to close his store.
They look to support the exporters. Everything we sell is exported to the United States. Every single last item. We are an exporter and we should get that support. But here we are.
John Slip is the owner of the Woodstock duty-free shop in Belleville, New Brunswick. He has no choice but to shut down because of plummeting sales, a drop in Canadian travelers, and a lack of support from Ottawa. The store has been in his family for 40 years. The Frontier Duty Free Association represents 32 shops across Canada. It says many of its members have seen revenue drop between 60 and 80%. They've also joined 15 border town mayors in calling for financial support from Ottawa. Flames tore through an assisted living facility in Massachusetts Sunday night, killing at least 9 people.
All the smoke from the hall were right in my face, and all that I could do was just stand there and choke. And I thought it was going to be the end of everything.
Trapped and unable to move themselves, some seniors leaned out of windows and screamed for help as fire and smoke surrounded them. Emergency crews broke doors and windows to rescue the majority of the 70 residents. At least 35 people, including some firefighters, were taken to hospital. The cause of this fire is under investigation. A new poll suggests Manitobans and Winnipeggers are among the least happy in the country. Léger has just released the results of its Canadian Happiness Index. Manitoba came in 9th out of 10 provinces, just ahead of Prince Edward Island. Winnipeg also came in second last out of 10 major cities, a hair above Toronto. Quebec and Mississauga, Ontario took the top spots as happiest province and city, respectively. The results were gleaned from an online survey of nearly 40,000 Canadians during the first 2 weeks of April. Lionel Messi's iconic goal in the 2009 Champions League final is being made into art.
So this artwork is using Leo Messi's 2009 specific goal in his life that he believes his best memory. So what we are seeing here is an AI interpretation of his emotions, of his memory specifically.
Messi chose this goal specifically for the piece. The piece called Living Memory Messi, A Goal in Life will be auctioned off and is expected to sell for around $1.5 million. The person behind it says the art is a mix of sport, technology, data, and AI, all in one. Proceeds from the sale will go to several nonprofits. Here's a look at what's happening on the Norwood Bridge. It looks like things are moving well here. The streets are wet and it's smoky out there. If you see any problems, please let us know.
Yeah, the rain's still coming down, as you can see now as we look through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. We welcome the rain. We'll probably still see it for another couple of hours. Looking a little bit gloomy through the morning hours and then perhaps a little bit brighter into the afternoon. Temperature-wise, we're slightly above seasonal with 13 degrees being a normal low. We're starting out at 15, seeing similar temperatures all throughout southeastern Manitoba and including northwestern Ontario. We've got Kenora coming in at 15 as well. Only slightly cooler as we look off to the west. The more seasonal 13 degrees at the moment in Brandon and in Dauphin. Slightly cooler yet over in Swan River, just barely into the double digits and not quite hitting the double digits through parts of northern Manitoba. You can see some high single digits that you're waking up to this morning. Air quality, according to Environment Canada, has improved enough that all of those warnings have been lifted for the most part. Still have this statement or advisories in parts of the northeast and southeastern Manitoba, although you only need to step outside and you can see and smell the smoke and you know that it hasn't gotten a whole lot better. So do take all of the necessary precautions regarding the smoke. There's the rain. We welcome more of that. We'll likely continue to see that through the morning hours, then into the afternoon. Clouds breaking up, the sky will clear, and as that happens, temperatures will begin to warm up a little bit. Noontime, and I've stopped it, and we're mid to high 20s pretty much across the entire province. And even once we're reaching our expected high today, we will remain a little bit below seasonal, with 26 degrees being normal for this time of year. We'll probably top out at about 20 today. Getting a little bit warmer when the sunshine returns over the next couple of days, but not really back till seasonal till we're looking ahead to the weekend. What a stunning sky spotted out in Pinawa by Leah. Thank you for the photo, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. We're taking a break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Booking a vacation can be expensive, so you'll want to be extra careful entering your information to avoid mistakes. A couple accidentally booked a resort stay, and when they canceled it shortly after, they were shocked to be denied a refund. CTV's Pat Foran has that story.
Lizanne Hasmatali of London and her husband have been married for 1 year, and in March they plan to go to Jamaica to celebrate the honeymoon they never had. But when they were online booking a resort, they made a mistake.
Right after we booked it, we realized that it just included the hotel option. So we canceled it immediately, and we were going to rebook it properly.
Hasmatali says after she canceled the booking with plans to rebook the same resort with airfare included, she was shocked to find out the booking was non-refundable and she would not be getting back almost $4,200 for the hotel stay.
They saw that we canceled within 10 minutes, and it doesn't matter. What mattered is that it was non-refundable.
The couple had saved for the trip, so without a refund, they were unable to book the resort again and ended up having to stay home.
We spent this whole year saving for it, and then something as simple like this, as a simple mistake, you just lose it all.
The couple booked the trip through Expedia. A spokesperson told CTV News, if a traveler makes a mistake on a non-refundable booking, the decision whether or not to allow additional flexibility is up to the hotel.
It's so important to take your time when you're making a booking.
The Travel Industry Council of Ontario, TICO, says there is no cooling off period when booking a trip, so it's important to make sure you check the booking details carefully. Richard Smart says using a registered travel agent can help avoid mistakes. If you do book a trip yourself, check the refund policy.
Look before you book. Be very careful. Read those terms and conditions.
After CTV News reached out to Expedia, TICO did as well, and Expedia agreed to give the couple a full refund, saying we worked with the hotel to provide a refund as a one-time courtesy. That was great news for Hasmatali, who can now use the money towards a future vacation.
Thank you, CTV, for doing all that you did to help us get the money back. We're very grateful, and we're glad that it worked out.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Winnipeg's favorite cultural celebration is back, and we want you to go. Folklorama returns from August 3rd to the 16th, and we're giving you the chance to win a pair of 2 tour visas, giving you access to explore all 44 pavilions. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and enter the clue word world. Good luck.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
16 degrees outside this morning with those north winds, 27 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity at 97%. Also falling, a little light rain, but we will welcome every drop. It's been somewhat helping this smoke situation in the sense that all of the warnings, for the most part, have been lifted, and even the statements. Couple places where they still remain in the northeast and the southeastern parts of Manitoba, and parts of Saskatchewan still dealing with some of that heavier, dense smoke. But even though those warnings are lifted, you're still going to notice a bit of that smoky haze as soon as you step outside. So it's still not ideal by any means. But the rain is falling, and like I said, we will welcome every drop because it has been desperately dry, and we certainly need more of that. More angrier systems moving south of that international line. Fine. We don't need any lightning strikes in our neck of the woods. It's still too dry for that. Those showers will continue over the course of the morning and then clearing out into the afternoon. 20 degrees, so it will be a little bit below the seasonal 26. We'll also notice those winds increasing, at times gusting to 50 clicks out of the northeast, and that might still keep some of that smoke around. The wind should start to taper overnight as we drop down to 10 degrees. After that sky clears, it'll remain so overnight, and even through most of tomorrow, we'll be enjoying a fair bit of sunshine. Slightly milder tomorrow, only by a degree. The wind should be on the lighter side, though. And it continues to remain just a little bit below seasonal through the rest of the week with another round of showers by Friday. Weekend looking back to the seasonal as sunshine returns again.
Thank you, Terry. A 37-year-old man is dead following a shooting in the Interlake. RCMP were called to a residence in Teulon Sunday night. They found a man who had been shot and rushed him to hospital, but he died. Mounties in the area spotted a vehicle believed to have been involved in the shooting and tried to pull it over. A brief chase ensued, which ended with the vehicle holed up in a cornfield. Police surrounded the field and eventually arrested a 24-year-old man. The suspect is now in custody, and RCMP say they aren't looking for any more suspects. The Winnipeg Fire and Paramedic Service shows up when we need help the most, but now it's their employees who need help. In recent days, the service members have found themselves under attack. In one recent incident, a firefighter was hit in the face with a metal pipe while on a call. In another, crews were confronted with a suspect armed with a knife who threatened to kill them. The United Firefighters of Winnipeg says more needs to be done to protect these first responders, including harsher penalties.
We see legislation in place protecting peace officers, protecting police officers. I think that legislation needs to be extended to all public safety personnel, firefighters, paramedics, and our healthcare workers here to make it clear that violence or threats against those individuals will not be tolerated.
The Firefighters Union says other jurisdictions have provided stab-proof or even bulletproof vests for first responders. In a statement to CTV News, a spokesperson for the city writes, "The safety and wellness of our members is our top priority. WFPS has a set process for reporting violent incidents. We are reviewing the incident and will work with our members and police to determine next steps as applicable." It's quite a pickle and could be a sign of the times at a Sobeys on Keniston Boulevard. A sign on a shelf says Bick's pickles are not available because of tariffs. As CTV's Jeff Keel shows you now, another local grocer isn't surprised, as he says tariffs are causing shortages and price hikes.
Downtown Family Foods manager Braden Haleko says they're feeling the impact from the trade war with the U.S.
Anything from about $1 all the way up to $10, $12.
Earlier this year, President Donald Trump imposed tariffs on a number of Canadian goods, including aluminum and steel, for which Canada retaliated. Haleko says those tariffs are pushing up the price of some of the staples on his store shelves.
When the new stock started to come in is when we started to notice hikes in things like orange juice, yogurts, anything that really would come from the United States.
And it appears one of his larger competitors is letting their customers know just how much the tariffs are affecting what they can keep stocked. This Sobeys on Keniston Boulevard has a sign on one of their shelves that reads, "Bick's pickles are currently unavailable as an unfortunate impact of tariffs. We are pleased to offer a selection of alternatives for your shopping convenience."
It wouldn't surprise me if you start seeing more signs like that because, as I said, we've noticed definitely a few things that are starting to get hit.
Several grocers and retailers have put maple leaf labels on shelves to highlight Canadian products, and Loblaws announced in May it was identifying items impacted by tariffs with a letter T. But food professor Sylvain Charlebois is not entirely sure why Sobeys is having a pickle problem.
Does it mean that they can't actually price the product properly? Is it about access? What is it about? Is this a political move? Is this like the tea at Loblaw?
Still, he says tariffs are taking a toll.
Coffee is a good example. If you go to the grocery store right now in Winnipeg, you'll see coffee prices are much higher because of counter tariffs.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
CTV News has reached out to Sobeys and we're waiting for a response. Pickle maker Bick's was a Canadian company, but it was sold to U.S. interests in 2004 and production moved stateside in 2010. A city committee has approved a height variance for a building going up in the Exchange District. The Property and Development Committee voted in favor of the appeal for the Market Land project. It calls for two buildings, one between 4 and 6 stories and the other 16 stories, which exceeds the 100-foot maximum by 68 feet. The Public Service had recommended denying the appeal. The committee did not agree, approving the application. Emergency crews in Texas have resumed their search for those missing from flash floods after heavy rain on the weekend forced them to stop. The death toll has now climbed over 130, with at least 166 people reported missing. Search and rescue teams have been working along the Guadalupe River when forecasted thunderstorms raised concerns the waterways would rise. People in Switzerland have the green light to celebrate women's soccer. Some pedestrian crossing lights at cities hosting this year's Women's Euro have been changed. The green light in fan zones now show a woman playing soccer. This is a playoff last year's Euro in Germany. That was when Frankfurt changed its lights to a green plane kicking a ball and a red referee holding up a red card. Here's a look now what's going on at Portage at Polo Park. It looks like things are moving well starting off this Tuesday morning. If you see any problems out on the streets, please let us know. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36, while the provincial average is lower at $1.31. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.30. The lowest price in the city is $1.24. All this info is on gasputty.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Manitoba Museum this morning. This summer, kids get in free. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. I like that you led with that because parents, Manitobans, that's a word that we absolutely love to hear. We learn so much every time we come to the Manitoba Museum. Brandy Hayberg joins me now, and I didn't tell you this, Brandy, that privately I was Googling some things about narwhals, as you do, and I feel like I'm much like them. Their tusk is like a tooth, 3 feet long, so I guess I have big teeth. They're very social. They travel with 15 to 20 people, and they eat seafood. I like seafood too. Fish and squid.
You are a narwhal. Thank you.
You are. There's a reason I'm saying this, and why. Maybe so I don't look a little silly. Why is that?
Because we have a super cool new scavenger hunt finding little narwhal all throughout our museum galleries and learning about all the different kinds of marine mammals and animals here in Manitoba, which people don't think of because, you know, we're in a prairie, but we do have an Arctic coast that has some amazing wildlife.
And what a fun and engaging way to do that. Lots of engaging activities too, many of which we're going to be learning about throughout the morning. Anything that you want to highlight specifically now?
Absolutely. So obviously it is summer here in Manitoba, and we always have really great summer programming here at the Manitoba Museum. Like I said, we have a great scavenger hunt, and we also have hands-on activities every afternoon rotating throughout the summer, so you can learn some archaeological history about Manitoba, looking at tools that were used here in our province many, many years ago. We have the very popular fossil dig, and then also, you know, Arctic adventures and Inuit games, and just some really cool ways to learn about our province's history.
Rochelle mentioned this off the top, kids coming in for free. I know parents are going to love to hear that. Why is this happening, and what are some of the other incentives?
The Canada Strong Pass is put on by the Government of Canada, and it's actually Canada-wide, so there's a lot of different things that you can do for free. So national parks are free. I believe that Via Rail has a special for kids traveling, but here at the Manitoba Museum, kids 17 and under get in for free until September 2nd, and young adults 18 to 24 get half price.
Awesome. Thank you so much. More throughout the morning. This has been Narwhal Talk.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley.
Back to you.
Let's go on to the rooftop now. It's a day that we're getting some much needed precipitation today.
Yes, not a whole lot. I was just looking at my rain gauge, and it's really not even registering as far as how much fell. It did start yesterday afternoon, continued off and on overnight, but it's all been a very light rainfall. Still, we welcome it. Bring it on, Mother Nature. We could use more of this. We'll likely only get more of this till about midday, though. It's 16 degrees right now with north winds 27 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling. Humidity sitting at 97%. So while the rain is falling, it is looking a little bit gray out here, but probably a little bit brighter later on into the day. By about midday, the rain will taper off. Maybe later this morning, the clouds beginning to clear then into the early part of the afternoon. And by later today, very few clouds as it clears out almost entirely. It's not going to be heating things up, though. Temperatures today will remain below seasonal. Now, the rain is mostly an event through southern Manitoba. Parts of northern Manitoba aren't as likely to see that precipitation. You are also probably going to top out in those high teens, low 20s, so the temperatures will be similar throughout the entire province, which puts us a little bit below seasonal here in southern Manitoba when 26 is normal. Those are the numbers waiting for us this weekend, but the rest of this week remaining a little bit cool. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful at 900 Lorimer Boulevard, featuring Hunter Douglas shades.
Looking at the early markets, Wall Street's waking up with mixed energy this morning. Dow futures are pretty much flat, up just 2 points. Nasdaq futures are leading the way, climbing 133 points. S&P futures are also in positive territory, up 23. The Canadian dollar is seeing a slight dip. Overseas, the Hang Seng is on the rise, up 386. And Japan's Nikkei is also climbing, up 218 points. Good morning, it's 6:45. The chief medical examiner has called for an inquest into the death of a First Nations inmate who died following a standoff at the Headingley Correctional Centre in 2021. The inquest will seek to understand the circumstances of William Amo's death and what, if anything, can be done to prevent something similar in the future. The 45-year-old died 7 days after a chaotic confrontation during which he was put into a restraint chair and ultimately suffered cardiac arrest. His death was ruled a homicide, and one corrections officer went to trial on charges of criminal negligence causing death and failing to provide the necessities of life. He was found not guilty. In an email statement, a lawyer for the Amo family said it's unclear why the inquest is happening now, 9 months after the criminal case appeal window closed, but they say they look forward to it starting as soon as possible. Winnipeg police had to talk to a suspect out of a retention pond after an assault incident over the weekend. It happened at the University of Manitoba's track and field stadium on Saturday afternoon. Police say a man was acting aggressively in the stadium's viewing stands. Campus security tried to get him to leave, but the man wouldn't cooperate. Police say he threatened security guards and a coach with a rock and a homemade pointed weapon. When officers arrived, they found the suspect hiding in a nearby retention pond. He refused to come out. After about an hour of trying to communicate with the suspect, police took him into custody. A 45-year-old man now faces weapons and assault charges. No one was hurt. A 53-year-old man is dead after the ATV he was riding rolled over and pinned him underwater. RCMP were called to the scene Saturday on Ebb and Flow First Nation. Officers and EMS found the ATV rolled over in a creek. The man was pinned underneath. He was pronounced dead at the scene. RCMP say it appears the ATV rolled because of a steep slope. And a 32-year-old from Brandon drowned while swimming in Sandy Lake, south of Riding Mountain National Park. It happened Saturday night. RCMP say the man was swimming with 3 others when they noticed he was missing. He was located shortly after in the water and brought to a dock, but it was too late. Yellowhead RCMP continue to investigate. Vehicles get stolen every day in Winnipeg, but the way one truck was stolen is certainly unusual. As CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, the thieves used a tow truck to nab the vehicle.
Tiffany Schritt and her husband Jason didn't notice anything wrong right away last week.
It was Friday morning. He went to work at 7 in the morning. And I worked during the day doing other things. And he had come home at about 5:30.
That is until they went to load their truck with supplies.
I was getting ready because we were going to go to the lake. And my husband walks in the door and he's like, "Where's the truck?"
Tiffany checked their security camera and saw something shocking.
It was 3:30 a.m., 3:27 a.m. to be exact. And we saw a tow truck go by, like from left to right, and then it must have turned around at the end of the street.
Soon after, it hitched onto Jason's truck in pristine condition.
Came back, proceeded to back up into the truck, lifted it really quickly, and we had a trailer on the back of the truck because we carry other stuff on top of there. And he slammed into it, lifted it up, and drove away immediately, like didn't even strap down.
They called to check if the truck was towed for a legitimate reason.
It was not with any of the towing companies. We proceeded to call the police, and they checked all the towing companies as well and said that there was nothing there. So yeah, it's officially stolen.
Winnipeg police told CTV News that the case is being investigated as a stolen vehicle, and the city confirmed that there were no active tow orders in the area at the time. While it's not known who was driving the tow truck, the mental toll is high for the couple.
It's really stressful when your own personal item gets stolen that's of high value to you. It may mean nothing to somebody else, but it means a lot to us.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The Winnipeg Jets have signed a contract extension for their fourth line center. Morgan Barron has signed a two-year contract with the Jets. The 26-year-old recorded 15 points with the Jets last year. The Halifax native has become a reliable penalty killer since joining the Jets in 2022. The contract is worth $3.7 million. Here's what's happening now on Osborne Street. Streets are wet, but overall moving well over here. No issues to tell you about. If you see any problems out there, please let us know.
I kind of like the look of those wet streets on a bit of a drizzly morning, I guess we could call it. I was going to call it dreary, but no, I'm going to call it drizzly because it sounds a little more positive. 16 degrees, north winds, 27 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity at 97%. And again, the rain is a welcome sight. Every little drop that falls. Thank you, Mother Nature, for bringing us more of that. We've been needing it. We need more of it across the province. Northern Manitoba could certainly use more. You're not likely to get more today, unfortunately. Air quality, though, according to our warnings map, has improved somewhat, although still, if you step outside, you're going to notice a bit of that smoky haze. And winds today strong out of the north could draw more of that smoke in. But the rain is certainly helping with some of the smoke particles that are hanging in the air. It certainly dampens them. So there you can see the precipitation moving across southern Manitoba into parts of northwestern Ontario. Still looking far angrier south of the international line. But again, a little bit of light rain. Bring it on, Mother Nature. More please. More please through northern Manitoba, but unfortunately that won't be the case for you. The exception could be the Gillam area, maybe a few light showers, a few extra clouds in Island Lake. Most of northern Manitoba will be on the sunnier side, or at least a mix of sun and cloud. Again, smoke will still probably be a bit of a nuisance in areas, but not likely to be seeing the rain as we will be here through central and southern Manitoba, where it will be falling and bringing some cooler temperatures as well all throughout this week. Mercury a little bit below seasonal. And again, not a bad thing, especially with the fire situation going on, to get some cooler temperatures, to get a little more rain. These are all things that can certainly help with the crews that are trying to battle some of those blazes. Northwestern Ontario more likely to deal with full-out storms. More thunderstorm activity is more likely further east of us. Showers through the morning, tapering off, clearing out through the day. A little more sunshine for the next couple, but finishing the week off with another round of precipitation, and then we're back to seasonal temperatures looking ahead to the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. The Conservatives are calling on the Prime Minister to cash out a blind trust he created before he took office, insisting that the ethics screens he has set up to avoid conflicts of interests are not sufficient. CTV's Judy Trin with the new push and details on the disclosures.
There is a cornucopia of conflicts of interest in these investments.
The Conservative leader is raising concerns about the Prime Minister's business dealings in his past life. Before entering politics, Mark Carney sat on the boards of Brookfield Asset Management and Stripe, a credit card software company. He has millions of dollars of assets in the two companies, which he put in a blind trust.
I comply with my responsibilities. I comply with the rules well in advance.
New disclosures filed by Carney to the Ethics Commissioner revealed that Brookfield and Stripe own or control more than 100 other corporations, including clean energy businesses and real estate.
The list of potential conflicts goes on and on. How can he possibly be involved in developing a budget when all the tax policies could impact on his investments directly or indirectly?
The Commissioner's office says the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, Marc-André Blanchard, and Privy Council Clerk, Michael Sabia, will be in charge of screening Carney's government decisions, which Carney says will prevent him from giving preferential treatment to any of the companies while he exercises his official powers and duties.
As long as they're invested in businesses while they're in public office, their investments will taint every decision and cause them to make decisions in their own interests, even if they claim not to be doing that.
Pierre Poilievre says the only way for the Prime Minister to avoid conflicts of interest is for Mark Carney to sell all of his shares and to hand over control of those funds to a trustee to reinvest. Only then will the Prime Minister truly not know what stocks he holds. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
And now to a love story that kept growing even as it remained bottled up for more than a decade. CTV's Garrett Barry on a message of hope that traveled across an ocean.
It was a day pretty similar to this one. Brad and Anita Squires, younger and more eager to enjoy every second they could.
We're still in the early stages of dating, and
we were doing a long distance thing because I was working in BC. So it was like we used to try to pack as much nice things as possible when I was home.
Just decided that we had this bottle of wine, may as well do something cute with it.
So they scrawled the events of their September day together on a piece of paper in 2012 and stuffed it into a wine bottle. They threw it as far into the Atlantic Ocean as Brad could muster.
Definitely thought it smashed into a million pieces. Yeah, like it's such a sheer drop that's there, and these big rocks and rough waters.
A memory of a day well enjoyed, but not one they ever expected to return until...
Walking along the beach, I saw a glass bottle sitting in some seaweed that had just been washed up.
More than 12 years later, and 3,000 kilometers away on a beach in Western Ireland, their love note found a second act.
We managed to get into the bottle. Sadly, we had to break it because we couldn't get the letter out.
Since then, the phone hasn't stopped ringing. All around the world, people want to know more about these two lovebirds and the lives they've lived, their marriage and their children.
It's just like a possibility of something beautiful that can happen in your life. And it happened to us, and it can happen to anybody. Just like putting positive thoughts out there really can come back to you.
Brad and Anita say they really do live it every day. They really are as in love as they were on that special day more than 12 years ago.
If it gets like a little smile on their face and makes them happier, think about their own past loves or their current loves, then we're all for it.
A decade later, they're more than happy to tell their love story over and over again. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
The Winnipeg Sea Bear season continues, and we want you to be part of the action. The Sea Bears will hit the court against the Edmonton Stingers on July 25th. So if you want to be in the stands, we've got the contest for you. CTV Morning Live is giving away a family pack of 4 tickets to give away to that game. Head over to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and hit our contest page for all the entry details. Don't miss your shot. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with your 7 o'clock headlines. Good morning. It is 7 o'clock on Tuesday, July 15th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't been downtown lately, Graham Avenue is now closed to vehicles, some parts of it actually. And so we're going to show you exactly what they're doing on that street now, what it looks like, and what they're hoping to accomplish. There's lots of lighting fixtures, installations, as well as some really cool paintings. So we're going to show you what that's about. But first, your headlines. Evacuation troubles in Flin Flon, why some say the wildfire response has been mishandled. Plus, trade war escalates. Will Canada avoid a 35% tariff hike from the U.S.? And whale, hello there. Rio's coastline gets a surprise visit from some early giants. Bringing in Terry now.
Who wrote that? I like it.
I like it too. And I like the rain that we're getting today. It's really good for us.
I do too. I feel like today's going to be a really good day, Rochelle. The rain, we welcomed it. It started to fall yesterday afternoon. Not a whole lot. Honestly, it wasn't even registering in my rain gauge on the rooftop. But still, it is making things a little damper, and we needed that. 16 degrees, north winds 27 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 97%. Those winds, you're certainly going to notice them today. Out of the north, maybe not ideal because, again, we've been dealing with that smoke lingering, and we may notice more of that smoke being drawn in. The rain has certainly helped kind of dampen some of those smoke particles that are hanging in the air. And the air quality map has been I was going to say downgraded, upgraded, however you want to view it. It's certainly an upgrade as far as the air quality goes, with the fact that those warnings have now been lifted through most places, just lingering with the air quality statements or advisories through parts of the northeast and parts of southeastern Manitoba. Off in Saskatchewan, through the kind of more north central stretch, they are still dealing with some of that heavy smoke. So a west wind wouldn't be ideal. Right now, it's a north wind for us, and the rain is coming down. So like I said, kind of dampening some of those smoke particles that were hanging in the air, and we'll likely see the rain lingering through the rest of the morning. Northern Manitoba, a bit of a different story for you. A bit of a clearer, brighter day. You can see not much as far as precipitation goes. Maybe a few scattered, speckled showers, but very little likely. We'll see things clearing out into the afternoon, remaining clear overnight and into Wednesday as well. More of a mix of sun and cloud across the entire province. But the temperatures, they're not going to skyrocket anytime soon. So even the cooler weather will help as crews are battling some of those blazes around the province. Cooler temperatures below seasonal throughout the rest of this week. We're back up to what is normal for this time of year as we're looking ahead to the weekend. Thank you to Millicent for the art today. That's a picture of her and her sister out flying kites, and with the winds that we're expecting today, might be a good kite flying day, especially later this afternoon when the sun comes out. So keep your art coming, please. We love to check it out. Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. Despite good progress battling northern Manitoba wildfires, the province is still preparing for the worst and is setting up thousands of cots for potential evacuations. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew posted this video on social media. That's Kinew setting up cots at the RBC Convention Centre in downtown Winnipeg. It's one of several buildings the province can turn into an evacuation site under its state of emergency powers. One of the communities most in danger is Garden Hill. The only people left there are essential personnel. Fire officials say thick smoke and intense flames are making it difficult to fight. In other areas like Leaf Rapids, Lynn Lake, and Thompson, weekend rain has helped firefighting efforts.
We've had some pretty decent weather to assist us in the firefighting effort, so we're quite confident in the protections that we put in place between the fire and the city of Thompson. Of course, there's always an unknown. The weather can create different situations, but based on what we've done today, we're feeling pretty good about where we're at with Thompson right now.
Thompson has asked residents to fill out a pre-evacuation form starting Friday in case they need to evacuate, noting that as of Monday, 11,000 people have completed the form. Sprinklers are also being set up outside homes. There are 122 active wildfires burning in Manitoba as of Monday, and there have been 297 fires in the province to date in 2025. There are already lots of people who have been forced to leave their homes because of the wildfires in Manitoba's north, and some say the evacuation has been far from smooth. As CTV's Danton Unger reports, some Flin Flon residents say a personal care home evacuation has been mind-boggling.
Vincent Gay has been waiting to go home for more than a month.
Sooner the better for everybody here.
The Wildfire evacuee is a resident of the Northern Lights Manor, a personal care home in Flin Flon. Wildfires forced its evacuation in May, and since then, Gay has been at a care home in Carman, waiting for the green light to go home. That green light finally came last week when the Northern Health Region told residents they would be allowed back as of Monday.
We were all excited here and ready to go home.
But the excitement was short-lived. One day later, Gay and other residents received this letter from the region saying their return was being delayed as residents of a care home in Thompson are being proactively moved to the Northern Lights Manor. The letter says this is a precautionary decision due to the air quality and smoke levels in Thompson.
Their choice to bring in Thompson residents instead of letting our own residents in is really heart-wrenching. Mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling.
Annette Banak's grandfather is among the displaced residents of the Flin Flon care home. He's been staying at the Deer Lodge Centre in Winnipeg, hundreds of kilometers away from his family.
He's 92. He has dementia, so he's off and on in his memory, and he's been crying on the phone. It's just heartbreaking.
They aren't alone. Nearly 900 people have signed a petition calling on the province and the health region to allow the Flin Flon seniors to return and find other accommodations for Thompson residents. And now that could happen soon. Manitoba's Health Minister Uzoma Azagwara tells CTV News, I've also directed the Northern Health Region to ensure that residents of Northern Lights Manor return to Flin Flon in the coming days as quickly and safely as possible. They add plans are in place to begin repatriation in the coming days. For Gay, he says the entire process has been confusing and difficult for residents who just want to go home.
Yeah, it was very unorganized.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
In a statement to CTV News, the Northern Health Region says the temporary relocation of Thompson residents to Flin Flon was a short-term measure in response to the rapidly changing environmental conditions. Officials say residents of the Northern Lights Manor will return to Flin Flon in the coming days. The Winnipeg Police Service is requesting the public's assistance in locating a missing 54-year-old man who was last seen nearly 2 years ago. Police say Alan Childs was recently reported missing, having last been seen in November 2023 in the St. Boniface area of Winnipeg. Childs is described as 5 feet 7 inches tall with a thin build, short blonde hair, blonde goatee, and blue eyes. The Winnipeg Police Service is concerned for Alan Childs' well-being and is asking anyone with any information regarding his whereabouts to contact the Winnipeg Police Service Missing Persons Unit at 204-986-6250. It's shaping up to be another critical week in the ongoing trade war, with the U.S. Prime Minister Mark Carney will be meeting with his cabinet today to discuss Donald Trump's latest tariff threat. Trump sent Carney a letter last Thursday warning the U.S. will raise tariffs on many Canadian goods to 35% starting August 1st. The Carney government says it's working to secure a trade deal by that date, but it now appears the U.S. president is losing patience, claiming those new tariff rates sent in letters to many countries are the deals.
The deals are already made. The letters are the deals. The deals are made. There are no deals to make. They would like to do a different kind of a deal, and we're always open to talk.
Despite the claim from the president, White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett confirmed that trade talks between Canada and the U.S. are set to resume this week. Flames tore through an assisted living facility in Massachusetts Sunday night, killing at least 9 people. That's not the right video, obviously. Trapped and unable to move themselves, some seniors leaned out of windows and screamed for help. As fire and smoke surrounded them, emergency crews broke doors and windows to rescue the majority of the 70 residents. At least 35 people, including some firefighters, were taken to hospital. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. The CEO of TikTok is asking for an urgent meeting with Industry Minister Mélanie Joly. The meeting would be about Ottawa's order for TikTok to shut down its operations in Canada. TikTok's CEO wrote a letter on July 2nd asking for a meeting within 2 weeks, which is tomorrow. TikTok is arguing Ottawa's order is outdated, considering how the U.S. keeps delaying its ban of the app. Minister Joly's office did not say if she has responded. Humpback whales have made an early return to Rio. Every year, humpback whales travel to Rio's coast from the Antarctic. This year, they're here early and in greater numbers. Marine biologists say the whales' early return is a sign conservation efforts are working. There are now enough humpbacks around every year for Rio to start its own whale watching industry. So cool. Here's a look at what's happening at Kenaston and Sterling Line. You can see there's drops there on the camera. So you'll be dealing with some rain this morning. Make sure your wipers are in working order. Overall, though, no issues to tell you about in traffic. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Manitoba Museum this morning. So much to do and see there, and it's perfect for kids right now. Good morning.
Rochelle, I'm going to come at you with some more fun facts. What I find interesting is you just came out of a story with humpback whales. We're going to be learning about orcas and some of the noise pollution that has been involving them with some augmented reality. Now, orcas are actually part of the dolphin family, which I just learned upon a quick Google search. Anyways, you know what else we're going to be learning about? A scavenger hunt involving narwhals. So there's 12 different one of these hidden throughout the Manitoba Museum. You're going to look at some of the clues, and then I guess we're giving you a spoiler here, but that's okay. You can find them. Kids get in free throughout this summer, all the way until September 2nd. We're going to be heading to the Planetarium. There's hands-on activities. I can't finish it all in just a minute's time, so I'll see you at 7:27. How's that?
Sounds good. We'll see you then. Thank you. And you know, on a day like this is the perfect day to go to the museum. You get to be inside. You get to learn. The kids don't even know they're having fun while doing it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even on some of those smoky days when you're looking to just find some activities to keep kids busy indoors. Yeah, great place to take them. This morning, sure, a little bit drizzly. Out at the airport, they're registering that the rain has now stopped. I'm not noticing that right in the downtown area. Still out here using my umbrella, but it has been just a very light kind of drizzly rain this morning. 16 degrees, a breeze though. You're certainly going to notice that wind at the moment. It's gusting to 32 clicks out of the north, with the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 93%. Bring on the rain. Come on, Mother Nature. A little more, and maybe a little more up north, because while southern Manitoba is getting the bit of drizzle through the morning hours, northern Manitoba isn't as likely to see much today or tomorrow. So still, with the dry conditions in the places that are needing it the most, not that we didn't need it, but some areas could certainly stand to get more of that moisture without the lightning strikes, because unfortunately that seems to be the thing, right? We get the showers, but with some thunderstorms tucked in. Now, we might see some thunderstorms moving into parts of northwestern Ontario today. Through Manitoba, it's likely just going to be showers through the morning and only for the south. Then into the afternoon, we'll see the sky clearing out, that sunshine coming back, but it will remain cool.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Thank you, Terry. Let's check in now on our question of the day. It's National Give Something Away Day. If you could give one thing, big or small, to a stranger today, what would it be? Just a quick reminder, our question of the day has moved from Twitter, so now we want you to text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. At CTV Morning Live, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, whether they're furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing. We want to see more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to Pet of the Week at ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday between 6 and 9 to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on CTV Morning Live. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this. Good morning, it is 7:16. The Manitoba Métis Federation is once again collecting donations for wildfire evacuees and needs your help to keep its shelves stocked.
We are going through donations like hotcakes.
MMF has set up an evacuation and drop-in center for all evacuees. Along with meals, an internet cafe, and kids area, it has a donations area for evacuees to shop for the things they're missing. But because of demand, it's running out of essential products, especially hygiene items, all sizes of men's clothing, and baby needs, including strollers.
We know that there are another 700 people arriving today from the Garden Hill area, and there are several other communities that are looking to evacuate in the coming days. So this is a high demand, and I would say it's higher demand than it was during our first wave at this point.
You can drop off items at the donation center on Ray Marius Road in the St. Boniface Industrial Park, or at the evacuation center on McGregor Street. Police in New York have caught 4 young people doing this. It's called subway surfing, and it's become a big problem in New York. There's a drone team dedicated to catching these subway surfers. These 4 boys, who are 12 to 16 years old, were spotted by the drone. The train was stopped at the next stop, and the 4 boys were caught. New York Transit officials says they've stopped about 200 subway surfers since 2023. Nicotine pouches are growing in popularity, but now a new study finds they're also a fast-growing source of nicotine poisoning in young children. The U.S.-based study looked at cases of children under 6 who accidentally ingested nicotine through products like vapes, gums, and lozenges. Most types of exposure fell after 2016, but exposures from one delivery method, nicotine pouches, shot way up, rising more than 760%. Nicotine pouches, which are tucked between the gum and lip, are increasingly popular among teens and young adults. The CDC says they've become the second most used nicotine product among young people. If you're wondering how much a luxury experience will cost at next year's World Cup, FIFA has given soccer fans the answer. The cheapest of the premium packages will run about $2,500 for a single game and climb as high as $40,000. They include gourmet dining, access to VIP lounges, and top-tier seats. More affordable ticket options will be available this fall. Vancouver and Toronto will be the Canadian host cities for next year's World Cup matches, which will also take place in Mexico and the U.S. Here's a look at what's happening now along Donald Street. Is this Notre Dame? No, it's Donald Street. It's Donald Street, yes. And looks like things are picked up over here, but overall moving quite well. If you have any issues in traffic, please let us know.
CTV Morning Live Traffic brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
And this is the story of how the Piano Man came to be.
Back then, his whole life was the band. We just wanted to make as much noise as possible.
This is the official trailer for the two-part documentary Billy Joel, and So It Goes. The documentary explores the love, loss, and personal struggles that fueled his songwriting. Fans will get access to never-before-seen performances, home movies, and personal photographs. The first part premieres this Friday. It was a royal matchup off the court. Wimbledon champion Jannik Sinner met the Prince and Princess of Wales. He was greeted by them right after his win against Carlos Alcaraz. He also signed tennis balls for Prince George and Princess Charlotte. Everybody in Vegas, rock your body. We're now getting a glimpse of the Backstreet Boys opening weekend at the Sphere in Sin City. We shared with you yesterday that they're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Millennium with a 2.0 version. They'll be performing at the Sphere this month into August. The Wizard of Oz takes over at the Sphere August 28th. Your primetime lineup kicks off at 7 with E-Talk, followed by The Amazing Race Canada. Then Battle of the Generations wraps up the night at 10. It's all right here on CTV. Winnipeg's favorite cultural celebration is back, and we want you to go. Folklorama returns from August 3rd to the 16th, and we're giving you the chance to win a pair of 2 tour visas, giving you access to explore all 44 pavilions. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and enter the clue word world. Good luck. All right, bringing in Terry now. It's going to be a really, not a dreary day. Just drizzly day.
A drizzly start to the day. By later this afternoon, Rochelle, this will all be a distant memory. We'll be glad that we got that bit of rain because it still could be another couple until we see another round of it. And like I said, we need every drop that we're going to get. At the airport, it's actually already registering that the rain has tapered off. When I was in the downtown area just 10 minutes ago up on the rooftop, I was still noticing it falling. You can see those drops on our camera as well as we look through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. The temperatures, they're going to remain a little bit cool throughout the entire province today. That will also be good for the situation that we're dealing with right now with all of the fires ablaze. So cooler temperatures, a little precipitation. It's just that it's not necessarily hitting in the areas needing it the most. It's southern Manitoba. I'll show you the satellite image in a second. Let's talk numbers first. Okay, 16 right now in Winnipeg. Similar temperatures all through southern Manitoba. When 13 degrees is a normal low, we are seeing numbers closer to that over here in the southwest. Maybe even slightly cooler, some 11 degrees right along that very western border. Up into northern Manitoba, starting to move into the double digits. A lot more of you are in the high single digits last hour. Only place remaining now is Gillam Thompson coming in at 8 degrees. Air quality improving. Maybe that has to do with the smoke particles being dampened by some of that precipitation. There you can see it right now falling through southern Manitoba, not necessarily through northern or central Manitoba, where it is certainly needed. Temperatures around the entire province will remain a little bit below seasonal. Here I've stopped it at noontime, and you can see these mid to high teens, but only topping out in the low 20s today, when 26 degrees, for example, across southern Manitoba would be normal for this time of year. We'll get back to those numbers as we're looking to the end of the weekend, but the rest of this week remaining a little bit below that. We will see that sunshine returning later this afternoon and lasting for another couple of days. Speaking of sunshine, how it's gorgeously peeking from behind the clouds. Thanks to Leah for this stunning photo taken in the Pinawa area. And we'd love to see your photos still, so keep them coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. In a week, Canada's premiers will be meeting with Prime Minister Carney to discuss the biggest issues affecting the country, and the Canadian Organization for Rare Disorders is hoping to put the treatment of rare diseases at least near the top of the list. CTV's Pauline Chan reports.
The rare disease drug strategy was announced in 2019 under the previous Liberal government, but it actually didn't become in effect until 2023.
The deal involves $1.4 billion, the first major financial commitment to the rare diseases community.
Quite frankly, our biggest concern is we haven't seen them spending monies at all. We have no idea where the money is going. They already have drug plans that they should be covering these drugs. We don't see any extra support for patients. In fact, we see patients being denied treatments.
Cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, sickle cell disease all come under the umbrella of rare diseases.
We say 3.2 million Canadians are living with a rare condition.
And while the money was earmarked for medications,
more than 50% of these people have a really difficult time getting an accurate diagnosis. For a rare condition, sometimes it can take 3 years, 5 years, 7 years to get diagnosed. diagnosis. In the meantime, you may get up to a dozen misdiagnoses, which is actually a tragedy because you start getting the wrong treatments.
Wong Rieger says it's not that doctors are careless, but they don't get the right training or support.
And we have begged for not a drug strategy, but a rare disease strategy.
What the Canadian Organization for Rare Disorders, or CORD, is calling for is the creation of centers of excellence for rare conditions.
Europe is by far the most advanced in terms of having good national plans. They have European, what they call reference networks that work across, all the 24 countries so they can coordinate and collaborate. You got a disease in Romania, you can see a specialist in Germany.
CORD is calling on the premiers to coordinate centers across the provinces, as the European countries do, to bring equitable access to diagnostics as well as treatments, plus supports for caregivers, especially parents, because 70% of patients living with rare disorders are children. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
It's that time of year again, and CTV and Chicken Chef want to know, how are you soaking up the Manitoba sunshine? Whether you're roasting marshmallows under the stars or dancing at your favorite festival, we want to see the special moments that make your summer shine. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize. You'll also be in the running for daily draws and tasty surprises from Chicken Chef. Plus, you could win one of 4 $250 gift cards from Wine Sense. So snap that perfect shot and share your summer with us today. All right, coming up, we are live at the Manitoba Museum telling you about what's going on there this summer. Stay with us. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Manitoba Museum this morning. It's one of my favorite places to visit, and now kids can access it for free. Good morning.
I know exactly why, Rochelle. I feel like every time I'm here, I'm learning something new, reading a new piece of information, and isn't that the best? Even for kids who can access it for free all summer long. Aaron Bulow joins us now. A scavenger hunt is what one of the activities is. Explain to us how it works.
Yeah, so throughout all of our galleries, we have little narwhal whale stuffies. As we can see over there, there's the second one of 12, and people are going to need to find every single one of them, and they'll follow along with clues on a clipboard that they'll get at the front, guiding them through all of our galleries. So kind of along the way, bringing them through each of the sections and hopefully stopping to read some of the text along the way. But if not, just to have fun finding those whales.
I guess that's one of the big benefits to it too, right, is giving them the variety of different parts of the museum that maybe they missed last time.
Absolutely, yeah. With scavenger hunts like this, we like to draw attention sometimes. I mean, at this exhibit, everyone knows the classic big dioramas, but most of the whales are hidden in lesser known parts, so it draws attention to exhibits that we want people to learn more about.
And the whale theme is connecting back to something elsewhere in the museum too?
Absolutely. So down in the science gallery for the whole summer, we have the critical distance virtual reality experience where people will learn about orca whales.
Tell us a little bit about some of the benefits to bringing your family to the Manitoba Museum. We mentioned earlier that it's free for kids up until September 2nd, but what do people enjoy most?
There's really so many things for everybody. I mean, there is the dazzling dioramas, the beautiful exhibits, but also learning about our shared history. And, there's way more than you can take in a single visit. So, every time you come through, you might notice a new artifact. I've worked here for almost 10 years, and sometimes I'll be like, hey, I've never seen that object, or I've never read that little corner before. So there's always more to discover.
Thank you so much. And hands-on activities, too. What are we getting into next?
Ooh, there's a little cliffhanger. What are we getting into next, Ainsley? Can't wait to hear. All right, outside this morning, a little bit of rain, kind of starting to taper off. It has done so already out west at the airport. I headed up to the rooftop in about 20 minutes time. I'll let you know the situation up there once I get up there. 16 degrees, north winds, they're gusting to 32 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 93%. The rain has been welcome. It certainly helped with some of the smoke. Not that you can't still notice some of that smoke out there, but all of the air quality advisories. I was going to say warnings, but the warnings were lifted yesterday. They are still in place. That's the purple that you're seeing through parts of Saskatchewan. We had been downgraded to just the advisory yesterday, and even that has been lifted in most areas, save the far northeast and that very southeastern corner of the province right now. As far as the conditions go throughout the day today, here's a look at the satellite image. We are going to deal with this precipitation just kind of passing on through, but like I said, it's already beginning to taper off as it continues to push further to the east. And then behind it, we're actually expecting to see some clearing. We had issues with the clicker yesterday. I know we fixed it. Maybe there's something else going on. Maybe it's the humidity. Have you ever noticed, do you remember when the traffic lights used to not work when the humidity was too high? Anyway, we're noticing the humidity in here today. 20 degrees are expected high with the showers, then clearing. Winds will be out of the northeast and on the stronger side today. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Overnight, 10 degrees and dropping, clearing out, 22 for tomorrow, mostly sunny, and the rest of this week will actually remain a little bit below seasonal, back up to those more normal temperatures as we're looking ahead to the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. The Winnipeg Fire and Paramedic Service shows up when we need help the most, but now it's their employees who need help. In recent days, the service members have found themselves under attack. In one recent incident, a firefighter was hit in the face with a metal pipe while on a call. In another, crews were confronted with a suspect armed with a knife who threatened to kill them. The United Firefighters of Winnipeg says more needs to be done to protect these first responders, including harsher penalties.
We see legislation in place protecting peace officers, protecting police officers. I think that legislation needs to be extended to all public safety personnel, firefighters, paramedics, and our healthcare workers here to make it clear that violence or threats against those individuals will not be tolerated.
The Firefighters Union says other jurisdictions have provided stab-proof or even bulletproof vests for first responders. In a statement to CTV News, a spokesperson for the city writes, "The safety and wellness of our members is our top priority. WFPS has a set process for reporting violent incidents. We are reviewing the incident and will work with our members and police to determine next steps as applicable." The chief medical examiner has called for an inquest into the death of a First Nations inmate who died following a standoff at the Headingley Correctional Centre in 2021. The inquest will seek to understand the circumstances of William Almo's death and what, if anything, can be done to prevent something similar in the future. The 45-year-old died 7 days after a chaotic confrontation during which he was put into a restraint chair and ultimately suffered cardiac arrest. His death was ruled a homicide, and one corrections officer went to trial on charges of criminal negligence causing death and failing to provide the necessities of life. He was found not guilty. In an email statement, a lawyer for the Almo family said it's unclear why the inquest is happening now, 9 months after the criminal case appeal window closed, but they say they look forward to it starting as soon as possible. We're now learning more about the innocent bystander who was fatally shot downtown in Hamilton.
Linda is such a kind person with a good heart. If something goes wrong, she'd say she's the only one that I will call.
That's Belinda Sarkoty's brother, Richard. Richard said Belinda was her mother's best friend and called her every day. She arrived in Canada last year from Ghana. Belinda was hit by a stray bullet Friday afternoon while waiting for the bus on King Street East. She died at the scene. A man suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to hospital. The shooter fled the area. Police identified the 17-year-old suspect, who they believe is responsible for the double shooting. He's wanted for 1 count of second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. People in Switzerland have the green light to celebrate women's soccer. Some pedestrian crossing lights at cities hosting this year's Women's Euro have been changed. The green light in fan zones now show a woman playing soccer. This is a playoff from last year's Euro in Germany. That was when Frankfurt changed its lights to a green player kicking a ball and a red referee holding up a red card. There's a new report that comes in peace. The Canadian government's top scientists released a new report on UFOs. In the report, there's a recommendation for the creation of a new federal body to standardize, collect, and investigate unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs. It states that Canada would benefit from an improved process for studying UAP sightings. The Office of the Chief Science Advisor of Canada launched its UAP research effort 3 years ago. It's known as the Sky Canada Project. Here's a look at what's happening now along the St. James Bridge. It looks like things are picking up over here, but overall moving well. No issues to tell you about. Here's a look at your gas prices right now. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.31. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.30. The lowest price in the city is $1.24. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Right now we're sitting under 16 degrees. Things look pretty nice out there. We're going to talk a little bit more about Graham Avenue later in the show. Stay with us for more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
All right, it's 16 degrees outside. North winds gusting to 32 clicks. The pressure rising, the humidity at 93%. Although, okay, I've got a couple of clickers here. I let Zach, our camera guy, decide which one I'm going to use today. He chose the right hand, so here we go. Keeping our fingers crossed that this works. Are we going to take it a go? All right, let's see what happens here. Air quality map looking pretty good, better than yesterday. Most of those warnings have been lifted. Even the statements have been lifted. Just the very northeast and the very southeast is where they remain in place. Zach, you picked the wrong hand. I said we were going to blame you. Oh, okay, hang on. I got another clicker here. Look at this. No, I got nothing. Oh, okay. Oh, it's working here. All right. There's a look at the satellite image right now, and there's a little bit of precipitation coming down. Should I click them both at once? Will that take me anywhere? No, one at a time. One at a time, Terry. Here we go. Across northern Manitoba, mid to high teens expected. Not as likely to deal with precipitation. Look at me double fisting this morning. It's not even 9 a.m. Can you believe this? All right. As far as the temperatures go, a little bit cooler and below seasonal no matter where you are. Like, I don't even know what to do here. Just listen to me yammer. Okay, below seasonal temperatures, not just today, but probably throughout the rest of the week. Drier conditions are expected across northern Manitoba and a little bit soggier here in the south. At least to kick things off, we've been dealing with the rain this morning. More is welcome, Mother Nature. You bring it on. And then as far as the winds go, they're also going to be an issue today. Here we go. So too, if things are a little bit sluggish today, we'll call it a Monday disguised as a Tuesday. 20 degrees is a little bit below the seasonal 26. We're going to get back to those numbers for the weekend, but the rest of this week will be a little bit shy of what you would expect. Let's just get to the 7 days, shall we? All right, there you can see below seasonal temperatures clearing out this afternoon. A couple days of sunshine, rain by the end of the week, and then those seasonal temperatures come back again.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go back to Ainsley McPhail, who is in front of the non-such at the Manitoba Museum. Good morning.
I know, what a beautiful view. And you can come back to Manitoba Museum every single day. Why? They've got rotating activities, so you're guaranteed to learn something else. Aaron Bulow joins us once again. This one's cool, and I love that they're hands-on activities as well, because, you know, for kids and, you know, the big kids in your life, it gives you something to grasp your hands on. What are we learning here with the ice bucket?
Yeah, so this is one of our daily rotating stations. So you can come in the afternoon on Wednesdays and Sundays and learn more about whales. And the bucket is where we learn about how whales live in such cold waters and how they thrive. So we have this bag, this odd-looking bag is actually full of lard. And you'll stick your hand in there. There's a plastic layer, so you won't be touching the lard. But this is to basically be like blubber, the thick layer of fat that whales have under their skin to keep them warm. So we have some icy water, and I'm going to stick my hand in the bag that's full of lard, and then I have just a regular Ziploc bag. Ooh, and my left hand is so much colder, but my right hand is very cozy because I have that layer of blubber around it.
Whale hand, I love it. We've got some other artifacts, and I love when you're able to pull them here. What is this guy?
So that is actually a tooth from a narwhal, so a type of whale that lives in the north, connecting nicely to our scavenger hunt where you can find the little narwhals hidden throughout.
And these two are interconnected. How so?
Yeah, so those are two Inuit artifacts. So this is an oil lamp made of soapstone and once used to light up homes, but still an important part of tradition. And then this is made from a caribou antler, but it's actually a blubber pounder. So taking the blubber from whales and basically breaking it down so that you can make it into oil that can be burned in the lamps.
Awesome. Before we're out of time, when's this happening again?
So this particular station is every Wednesday and Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. So we're doing this in the afternoons, but every day we have a different activity somewhere in the galleries. So we have ones about dinosaurs, archaeology, as well as the Arctic.
Thank you so much. Coming up, we're heading to the Planetarium.
Thank you, Ainsley. Police in this country have helped uncover an unusual form of car theft without even taking the vehicles out of the dealership. CTV's John Woodward on the new tactics culprits are using.
Luxury vehicles usually fly off the lot in this Oakville car dealership.
So to get into a car like this.
But when the dealer Doug, who's asked us not to use his last name, tried to lease a Mercedes G-squared like this one, he had a problem with the province's auto registry.
Well, we go there, go to put it in transfer, they say, sorry, this car doesn't belong to you. That's what, meanwhile, it's been sitting in our showroom, or in the back at least. It's been sitting here for quite a while.
Documents showed the car had been transferred to another company in 2020. Documents Doug knew were forged.
Well, there's 35,000 kilometers on it, which for sure isn't our car because our car had no kilometers on it.
Your car was a new car in the showroom.
Exactly.
Doug believes at some point thieves entered the showroom just to get the car's vehicle identification number so they could use it to register another car that had been stolen and sell it.
They took our serial number and put it on a stolen car.
Each car has its own vehicle identification number, and if someone puts this car's number on another car, then two cars with the same vehicle identification number, something's wrong.
Since a wave of car theft that has swept the nation, the provincial government has tightened up its registry. Police have also laid several charges against Service Ontario workers.
It's definitely a scenario where one VIN number is living two lives.
Carfax has added tools to help dealers and people figure out if their VIN has been cloned. But critics worry smart thieves are already finding new ways to defraud people.
It shouldn't be so easy for people to be able to steal a car, get it registered.
Doug isn't sure the registry worker made a mistake.
You'll never stop if they have someone that's crooked working in a license bureau, and that's what they've been combating.
With the help of the Toronto police, he proved the VIN number matched his Mercedes G-squared and was able to transfer it to a customer. John Woodward, CTV News.
Hello, Nikki Reyes with you inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. For that, we'll head to the hard court. NBA Summer League, Bulls and Pacers. Check out Johnny Furphy. He goes coast to coast and takes it to the rack with authority as he puts Noah Asunga on a poster. The 2024 second-round pick with a dunk of the summer. Furphy finished with 15 points in this one, but none bigger than that monster flush, and he earns your must-see moment. Tonight on TSN, we've got the Raptors in Summer League action as they take on the Nuggets. Tip-off at 7 p.m. Central on TSN 1, 3, 4, and 5. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a good day.
TSN Must See Moments brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, your Hunter Douglas shade provider for over 40 years. CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by Canadian Footwear, where size does matter.
All right, I'm rolling up the umbrella now. I rolled it up the wrong way. Anyway, I'm rolling up the umbrella now. Do not need this any longer. Well, maybe. Keep it close at hand, at least through the morning hours. It's still looking pretty gray out here. 16 degrees is where we're sitting temperature-wise. It's the breeze you're going to notice throughout the day today. Out of the north at times right now, gusting to 32 kilometers per hour. Pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 93%. So yes, the showers, the possibility of them anyway, lasting through the morning hours, and the heavier clouds so long as the showers are around till about midday or so. And then into the afternoon, the sky begins to clear, a little more sunshine coming back, but not a whole lot of heat. No matter where you are in the province today, temperatures expected to remain a little bit below seasonal. And yes, some stronger winds today. Out of the north, we might notice it drawing some of that smoke back in again. Now, central and northern Manitoba, not likely to see the precipitation. A slightly clearer, although probably smoky day still. Most of the smoke warnings have been lifted, but you can still notice a little bit of that campy aroma throughout the day today.
4 blocks of Graham Avenue are now vehicle-free as part of the city's vision for the area. Since it was turned into a new pedestrian zone, parts of the street are slowly being transformed by new lighting, new art, and new games. Joining us now from the downtown Winnipeg Biz are Madeline Defoe and Elise Willette. Good morning to both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for joining us. Now, it's really coming along. It's only been closed to vehicles and buses for a short period of time, but already there are some massive changes. Tell us what's happened so far.
Yeah, so far we've been working closely with a lighting supplier. That's one of our main projects. So we've been collaborating with True North and Lights Unlimited. You can see the new lighting under the skywalk across Graham, right by the arena.
Okay.
And then there will be 7 other unique freestanding installations that will be going in the coming weeks. And then flowers as well.
Yeah, we also have an arrangement of flowers down on Graham, and so they were supplied by Glenley Greenhouses, planted by our downtown Winnipeg Biz Wawanesa Streetscape team. And you'll notice that there's an arrangement of colors, especially in our downtown Biz color palette. So you'll see pinks and oranges and yellows, and they just add a lot of vibrancy and pops of color to the street.
It looks amazing already. Tell us a little bit about some of the artwork that we're seeing out there.
Yeah, so the artwork was put together by the city they got a Bloomberg grant.
Okay.
And so there's 2 artists per block. You can see the kind of hockey rink shaped areas. So each of those is a unique artist. And then there's one artist in between that ties everyone together. So that would be Takashi, who's done his work all the way down the street.
And we could see that video right there. As you could see, it looks incredible. What sort of response are you getting from the public at this point when people are strolling along this section?
Yeah, we've had a lot of positive feedback, and the orange barricades just came down this morning, so we're expecting to see more people walking down the street now that it looks more open.
Yeah,
and then as part of the Bloomberg grant, the city has some funding for tracking of how pedestrian movement has changed down the street since the buses came off and the interventions went on, so the Biz is assisting with that as well, and hopefully by the fall we'll have some more data on that as well.
You've been working on this project for a while now. How does it feel seeing it look like this?
Yeah, it's great to see it all come to life. You know, you spend so many months meetings and with your head down doing work, and so to finally see it really fleshed out, it looks great, and it's great to see people actually using the space. We've installed picnic tables and ping pong tables, so we see people playing, and we see just lots of socialization.
Yeah, people gathering already is.
And what is the ultimate goal of this whole project?
Yeah, so the city is hoping to get funding to do more permanent interventions. Right now it's a pilot project, so we're testing to see what works, what people react positively to, and then things will change as we go forward, and as the city gets more funding to do this project more permanently.
And so far, the people that you've been speaking to are loving it.
Yes, yeah, we've had lots of positive feedback. There's always some negative with every change in Winnipeg, right? But overall, it's been positive. So.
And so you must be proud seeing the way that people are responding and they're using the space as it was intended.
Yeah, we had our first ping pong game the other day, and lots of people were coming to join in. So it's been really great to see people using the space.
Anything else coming up that people should be aware of?
The next step, like I mentioned, is the lighting installation. So those will be going in before the end of summer, and there will be 7 new installations with benches around so people can gather on them, and that'll be the next step. And then I think that should be about it, and then we'll see what we do in the winter for activations.
Well, the winter will look pretty amazing too. Well, thank you so much for sharing this, and if you want more information as well, we have a link on our website. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Coming up, we are live at the Manitoba Museum. You're looking at the non-such right now. We're going to tell you about some of the events that are planned for this summer. Stay with us. It's time for Let's Celebrate. Let's see who's having a celebration today. Happy 3rd birthday to B, with love from Mom, Dad, Brother Milt, and your family. Happy 6th birthday, Dax, and congratulations on your kindergarten graduation. With lots of love from Grandma and Uncle Jeff. Happy 7th birthday to our 1 in a million, Owen. Love Mom and Dad. Happy 10th birthday, Rahima, from Grandma, Auntie Margaret, Uncle Dauda, and Abby. And a happy 99th birthday to Isla. All the people who call you Mom, Grandma, and Great Grandma wish you a wonderful day. If someone you care about is having a birthday, anniversary, retirement, or graduation, let's celebrate. To submit your celebration, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Let's celebrate. Brought to you by Party Stuff, 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca.
Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on your Tuesday. Thank you so much for staying with us here on CTV Morning Live. A little later in this hour, we're going to get the latest on the crop report. We're going to find out how farmers in this province are doing. Are they getting enough precipitation? Have they seeded as they should? We're going to find out more. But first, your headlines. Care home evacuees, why those displaced and their families say the relocation has been anything but straightforward. Trump talks trade. An interview with the BBC prompts praise for UK leaders who were able to strike a deal with the U.S. And golf's holy grail, Kananaskis, is buzzing about what this Albertan accomplished in her very first time on the links. Bringing in Terry now with a look at weather, and hopefully your ticker will work this time around.
Yeah, keep our fingers crossed. Let's see how this goes, shall we? All right, first looking outside, it's 16 degrees with winds out of the north gusting to 32 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, the humidity sitting at 93%. We've had a little bit of rain falling all morning long, but that rain kind of squashed, dampened some of those smoke particles in the air. You can see our air quality map looking better than it has been for a few days now. Only dealing with some statements or advisories issued now in the northeast and the very southeast, although keeping in mind you can still see that there's smoke warnings off to the west of us. It's just a shift in the winds before we're dealing with more of that smoke back again. As far as the precipitation goes, it's kind of tapering off. I didn't need my umbrella the last time I was up there on the rooftop. You can see there's still going to be a little bit more rolling through some parts of southern Manitoba, all across the south, probably through the morning hours. Here's the look at the futurecast, and you'll see by later on today, this activity tapers off. And northern Manitoba, not likely to deal with the showers. You can see the brighter, clearer conditions, maybe a few scattered patchy showers. The possibility is there, but a far more organized system moving across southern Manitoba. Only through the morning hours. You can see later today that's off to the east of us. And then clearing is expected into the afternoon and evening, even overnight still on the clearer side. Just a couple of clouds for tomorrow. Throughout this week, whether we're dealing with the rain or the sun, the temperatures will stay below seasonal. 26 degrees, that's normal for this time of year, and we'll get back to those numbers by the time we're wrapping up the weekend, but a little bit cooler than that. Not a bad thing as we're dealing with that fire situation. So cooler temperatures and even a little bit of light rain. We'll take it. Thank you, Millicent, just 8 years old, and I love your picture of you and your sister out flying kites. We'd love to see everybody's art, so draw, color, paint for us, take a picture of it, and email us to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. Although progress is being made against wildfires, significant evacuations are still ongoing in Manitoba due to those wildfires. In this province, thousands of people have been forced to flee as fires threaten their communities.
Manitoba currently has over 6,000 individuals in hotels occupying over 2,100 hotel rooms in Manitoba. And there are 1,300 people in hotel rooms in Ontario.
And while fire-related relocations have gone as smoothly as can be expected, some Flin Flon residents say a personal care home evacuation has been anything but straightforward.
Their choice to bring in Thompson residents instead of letting our own residents in is really heart-wrenching. Mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling.
Wildfires forced evacuation of Flin Flon's Northern Lights personal care home in May. And since then, many residents of Northern Lights have been at a care home in Carman, waiting for the green light to go home. That green light finally came last week when the Northern Health Region told residents they would be allowed back as of Monday. One day later, residents received this letter from the region saying their return was being delayed as residents of a care home in Thompson are being proactively moved to the Northern Lights Manor due to smoky conditions in Thompson. Annette Benach's grandfather is among the displaced residents of the Flin Flon care home.
He's 92. He has dementia, so he's off and on in his memory, and he's been crying on the phone. It's just heartbreaking.
In a statement to CTV News, the Northern Health Region says the temporary relocation of Thompson residents to Flin Flon was a short-term measure in response to the rapidly changing environmental conditions. Officials say residents of the Northern Lights Manor will return to Flin Flon in the coming days. U.S. President Donald Trump talked trade and Russia in an interview with the BBC.
That's why I made a deal with them, and I haven't made a deal. I mean, I've made some other deals, but for the most part, in terms of your competitors and in terms of the European Union, I haven't made a deal.
During the phone interview, President Trump praised the UK for reaching a trade arrangement with the U.S. He also said the U.S. is negotiating with Canada right now, and it will work out very well. Prime Minister Mark Carney and his cabinet will meet today to talk about the new 35% tariff threat from the U.S. President Trump is also threatening Russia with tariffs as he expressed his frustrations with President Vladimir Putin. Emma Strong is the most popular golfer in Kananaskis right now.
I started telling people and told my brother plays golf, and no one could believe it, and they were all getting annoyed at me, and I'm like, oh, okay, you've never had one either. Oh, maybe it is a bit rarer than I thought.
She has other golfers green with envy after getting a hole-in-one on her first ever round of golf. It was on the 4th hole on a par 3 on the Mount Lorette course in Kananaskis. The odds of doing that are 1 in 12,500. Congrats to her. Here's a look at what's going on Confusion Corner. It looks like things are moving quite well over here. No issues to tell you about at this point in traffic. If you see any problems out there, though, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who is live now at the Planetarium. They have some exciting shows this summer. Good morning.
Good morning. A couple of them, Rochelle. Scott Young is here to break it down for me. Wilfred Buck is one of them. Tell us about this show.
Wilfred Buck, he's one of my heroes. He's a Cree sky expert, and he has put together his own planetarium show, narrated in his own words, telling some of the sky tellings, as he calls them, of the Cree people, the legends and the stars and things like that. It's called Wilfred Buck's Star Stories. Probably the best planetarium show I've ever seen in my career. Wow. And yeah, it's really moving because it feels like you're sitting and having a wise person just tell you things. It's not a documentary. It's not a standard kind of experience. So people are really loving it.
Wow. Okay, that's a tall order to hear you say that.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a few years, and it's by far the best show that I've seen here. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with you being the expert as well, you guys have put something together here with the Milky Way Live. How do you put together a planetarium show? Yeah, well, the Milky Way Live is a program that we've constructed in-house, which we do occasionally, and it's all about what you can see in the summer, basically. But most of the things we can see are part of our Milky Way galaxy. So rather than just pointing out the constellations and showing people what you can see, we're trying to put them in context in the 3D model of our galaxy, so people know, oh, that thing that I see is this far away, or that thing over there is actually ginormous. You know, trying to give people a little bit of the facts behind the stars that they see when they're out camping over the summer. Mm-hmm. So they can actually name it. And is there more context as well? Yeah, absolutely. I think what happens is when you understand the 3D nature of the universe around you, it's no longer just sort of starry wallpaper that's a nice background. You feel like you're a part of it, and everything around you is part of this whole system that we experience every time we go out and look at the stars. That might be a little too deep for me, Scott. It's not quite 8:30 yet, and you've got me on this higher level thing. I'm going to have to sit in the planetarium for another 20 minutes to decompress until 8:38 when we do our activity.
We'll see you then. I hope it helps. Well, vehicles get stolen every day in Winnipeg, but the way one truck was stolen is certainly unusual. As CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, the thieves used a tow truck to nab the vehicle.
Tiffany Schritt and her husband Jason didn't notice anything wrong right away last week.
It was Friday morning. He went to work at 7 in the morning. And I worked during the day doing other things. And he had come home at about 5:30.
That is until they went to load their truck with supplies.
I was getting ready because we were going to go to the lake. And my husband walks in the door and he's like, "Where's the truck?"
Tiffany checked their security camera and saw something shocking.
It was 3:30 a.m., 3:27 a.m. to be exact. And we saw a tow truck go by, like from left to right. And then it must have turned around at the end of the street.
Soon after, it hitched onto Jason's truck in pristine condition.
Came back, proceeded to back up into the truck, lifted it really quickly. And we had a trailer on the back of the truck because we carry other stuff on top of there. And he slammed into it, lifted it up, and drove away immediately, like didn't even strap down.
They called to check if the truck was towed for a legitimate reason.
It was not with any of the towing companies. We proceeded to call the police, and they checked all the towing companies as well and said that there was nothing there. So yeah, it's officially stolen.
Winnipeg police told CTV News that the case is being investigated as a stolen vehicle, and the city confirmed that there were no active tow orders in the area at the time. While it's not known who was driving the tow truck, the mental toll is high for the couple.
It's really stressful when your own personal item gets stolen that's of high value to you. It may mean nothing to somebody else, but it means a lot to us.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Looking now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Still a little bit of that fog lingering this morning. We had some rain falling earlier, which does seem to have tapered off for now and perhaps for the morning. Temperature-wise, we're actually a little bit above seasonal. 16 degrees is where we're sitting right now. That's been our lowest temperature this morning, or maybe 15, but 13 is in fact a normal low. So we're still a couple degrees above that. It has been a little bit cooler here in the southwest, starting to warm up just by a degree. Places like Brandon, Dauphin have gone from 13 to 14 now, still a little bit cooler over in Roblin, Swan River, 12 degrees at this time. For northern Manitoba, nearly everybody is into the double digits. Gillam the exception at 8 degrees. Your temperatures will be very similar to our temperatures here in the south, which puts everybody in the high teens and low 20s, a little bit below seasonal for southern Manitoba, when mid-20s would be normal seasonal highs. As far as the air quality statements and advisories, only the northeast and the southeast still included in anything like that. You can see in parts of Saskatchewan the heavier warning of the smoke. And again, it's only a matter of winds shifting before we're dealing with that again. And while those warnings have lifted for us, you can still smell a bit of that campy aroma if you step outside today. There's a look at the rain that was moving through. Now we're in a drier moment. There is still some activity rolling south of us, and we may still see a shower or two throughout the morning hours. Temperatures, like I said, they'll be a little bit cool throughout the day today. I've stopped this at noontime, and you can see high teens is where we'll be by midday, but only climbing another degree or two into the afternoon. So that will keep us a little bit below the seasonal 26 degrees. We will get back up to those more normal numbers as we're looking ahead to the weekend, but through most of the week, a little bit shy of seasonal, a little more sunshine this afternoon and for the next couple of days before another round of welcome rain moves in by the end of the week. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Good morning. Obesity is another disease on the rise, particularly among young adults, and new research is linking the increase to the pandemic. CTV's John Valley-Rao reports on how quickly rates are climbing and the long-term impacts.
During COVID, as lockdowns took hold, this was Ontario's premier offering up his famous cheesecake recipe at a time when plenty of people were turning to comfort foods to help them get through the stresses of the pandemic.
Stay safe, stay healthy.
But the pandemic's disruptions to daily life appear to have taken a serious toll on waistlines, with obesity rates growing faster than they had in the previous decade.
It's an entire societal issue that we need to take a look at and think about what that impact of the pandemic has been for everybody.
The study, led by researchers at McMaster, analyzed data over 15 years from nearly 750,000 adults and was based on the body mass index. It found obesity rates went from 25% in 2009 to nearly 33% by 2023. With the rate of increase doubling during the pandemic to roughly 1 percentage point each year.
Especially for young people and for women, the rates of obesity rose at a much higher rate than for other groups during the pandemic.
Obesity can bring with it a higher risk of serious health issues, such as type 2 diabetes and certain kinds of cancer. It's not certain exactly why the rates increased. At the time, schools, gyms, and workplaces closed.
Everybody has to have Chips Ahoy.
And people did spend a lot more time at home, near to their kitchen.
Why would people have more of an intake? Maybe because of the isolation, maybe because of depression. So all these challenges could have led to greater amounts of calories going in.
The study authors suggest the stress of job loss or added responsibilities for caregiving may have also played a role, and they think it's something that deserves more research. John Valley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Today is Arctic Sea Ice Day. It was created by Polar Bears International to highlight how important sea ice is to many of the animals that live in our far north. Animals like polar bears and beluga whales. Sea ice is declining with the Arctic region warming because of climate change. Joining us now to tell us more about the importance of sea ice is Elisa McCall from Polar Bears International. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us. Now, tell us about sea ice, how it's used by the animals in the north.
We like to say that sea ice is to the ocean what soil is to a forest. So it's really forming the base of the food chain in the Arctic. Algae is growing inside sea ice, acting like the plants. Those are feeding the little creatures like copepods, which are feeding the fish, feeding the seals, the whales, the polar bears, and of course people live across the north too and rely on sea ice. So Arctic sea ice is really critical. It's important we have it in the north.
But climate change is affecting sea ice in the north. Tell us what's going on.
Right, as temperatures are warming, as we're trapping too many greenhouse gases in our atmosphere, we are losing sea ice as the water in the atmosphere warms up. The good news is we know we can keep Arctic sea ice if we can switch to better energy sources like solar and wind and that cleaner stuff. And the sea ice is good for all of us around the world, too. We like to say that sea ice is Earth's air conditioner. It's cooling climates across the planet. So no matter where we live, we're impacted by sea ice. So we really do want to preserve it in the north for people in the north, people outside of the north, and all the animals that rely on it, too.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the sea ice's condition this year. What is it looking like so far this year?
Unfortunately, 2025 is currently on track with 2012, which is the lowest. Hudson Bay particularly broke up quite early this year. So, yeah, we're keeping an eye on it. The minimum extent will reach in September, and we'll see what it looks like then.
And so already, what are you seeing with the animals that depend on that ice in the far north here?
It looks like the polar bears in western Hudson Bay did have the early breakup, so many of them are onshore or heading to shore already. This is also the time of the year where we celebrate the beluga whales in the Churchill River and across Hudson Bay, and we're live streaming them starting today. And we'll see how they're doing. I think they're probably doing okay, so that's a reason to smile today for sure.
So on this Arctic Sea Ice Day, what do you want people to think about?
We want to just reflect on why it's important to keep it cool. I think the best time to actually celebrate ice is when we're warm and hot, and we can remember the importance of being cold and having cold in our lives. So if people can talk about what they care about, then other people will care about it. Humans care about what other humans care about. So talk about sea ice, talk about what matters in your own backyard, talk about how cool all the wildlife is in Manitoba, how special it is, and why we should want to keep these things around.
Let's go back to this year and what you're seeing so far. You saw 2 jellyfish species for the first time ever in Hudson Bay. What does that mean?
Right, that's really cool. So this is part of the Beluga Bits project, which is run by the Assiniboine Park Zoo in partnership with us and Explore.org on these underwater cameras that we run. Yeah, finding these jellyfish was really exciting and honestly not quite sure what it means yet. Maybe they've already been there. We didn't know. Maybe they're shifting. We are seeing a lot of shifts in northern oceans right now as species move up and the water's warm. So we have a lot more to learn.
And we can actually watch the beluga whales as well. Tell us about some of the cams that are set up.
The beluga cams are some of our favorites, so we're launching them in the Churchill River today. The above water cam is great, it captures all sorts of sights and sounds, but the underwater cam captures the beluga whales swimming. You can listen to them all day long. They're so chatty, talkative. They bring their babies up to the camera. It's a good idea to take a beluga break every day. I think in the summer we love having the belugas on in the background all summer long.
Goodness, I love everything about this. Thank you, Elisa, for sharing this with us. Of course, we do have a link on our website as well if you want to check it out for yourself. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Oh my.
So cool. Honestly, I'm gonna do a little humble brag here because it's not at all humble. I had the chance to swim with the belugas when I was up in Churchill a couple of years ago, and it remains one of my top experiences that I've ever had. So even just watching them on that camera brings back all of that fun. And to think that you can just see them from your desk when you're stuck inside on maybe a smoky day. Yeah, I'm noticing that aroma out here again this morning. Now that that rain has tapered off, it seems like the smell of smoke is almost even more prevalent. Although I suppose not surprising because of these winds out of the north-northeast. They're gusting to 36 kilometers per hour. Temperature itself sitting at 16 degrees. And yes, I'm out here sans umbrella. I rolled that up an hour ago when the rain seemed to have tapered, although we've been watching it on the satellite image. And it's still moving in areas to the south and to the west of us. We may still see some scattered showers this morning. More chance of clearing into the afternoon today. And clearer conditions are expected too across central and northern Manitoba. But again, when I'm talking about clearer conditions, It is regarding the clouds, not necessarily the smoke, although the smoke warnings have lifted all across the province and even downgraded to just mere advisories in the northeast and the southeast. That's it. But as I said, with the strong northeast winds, we might notice more of that smoke being ushered back in again. Cool and below seasonal temperatures expected throughout the rest of this week, but we're back up to normal again for the weekend. Isn't this a stunning shot of that sky out in the Pinawa area? Thank you, Leah, for this one. Keep the photos coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Canada's benchmark stock index, the S&P TSX Composite, rose by 2/3 of a percentage point yesterday and will begin today's trading day at 27,198 points. It's now up 10% so far this year. U.S. stocks also rose yesterday, and futures contracts on the three main U.S. stock indices were higher this morning. Shares of NVIDIA, the chip-making giant at the forefront of the artificial intelligence boom, rose by 4% in pre-market trading this morning. The company says it has been given permission by the Trump administration to sell its new H20 chip in China. That's being called a dramatic reversal by the White House. And second quarter financial reports from three big U.S. banks were due this morning, marking the launch of another so-called earnings season in the United States. J.P. Morgan Chase reported a second quarter profit of $15 billion U.S. From the BNN Bloomberg Newsroom in Toronto, I'm Paul Bagnall.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Whether they're growing cereals, pulses, or corn, most Manitoba farmers should have their crops in the ground by now. Joining us now with the latest on how Manitoba farmers and their crops are doing is Minto area farmer and vice president of the Keystone Agricultural Producers, Jake Aird. Good morning, Jake.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you are in the Minto area.
Yep.
What did you decide to seed this year?
So we seeded a mix of corn, pinto beans, navy beans, soybeans, wheat, barley, oats, kind of a smattering of crops, I guess.
And how many hectares are we talking about?
So we put in just over 4,000 acres of crop on our farm.
Okay.
And about an even mix of everything.
And is this a family farm that has been in your family for many years?
Yeah, so it's myself, my dad, my sister, my mom. We came over here to Canada 22 years ago from the UK.
Okay, and then this farm has been in your family, and what does it feel like this time of year? Is it so far a good year? Are you looking at your crops and you think they look good?
Yeah, like most of the province is pretty dry. We were very fortunate yesterday as well as most of the province to get some rain. Mm-hmm. So we're sitting like 40% of typical precipitation, so we're definitely dry. I know there's regions like the Interlake is very dry. There's pockets which have had more rain, but that's just because of freak storms, hail, that kind of thing.
Okay, and so in Saskatchewan, we just had a report yesterday showing that the farmers have already written off their crops because there's no way they can recover for the year. Are we like that here anywhere at this point?
For the most part, I would say no. Like I said, the Interlake does have some very dry pockets, but across the province, things are green, but definitely we will take as much rain as we can get at this point.
And what about sunshine? Are you getting enough of that?
Yeah, we've been getting the sunshine. Obviously, with the wildfires up north, not seeing the sun as much, and it has been a bit problematic working outside with the smoke and the air quality. But yeah, we've been getting the sunshine and lots of heat, just need a little more moisture.
Okay, sticking with the wildfire smoke that's coming into this region, how is it affecting other farming industries like beekeeping, for example?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to comment on that. I don't know, but I just do know, talking to other farmers, that working outside has been problematic with the air quality. Anyone who has respiratory issues, taking breaks, going inside, and just trying to deal with that.
So when you're driving by a field and you look at it, you might not necessarily know exactly what's going on there, but deep down on the ground there are cracks everywhere.
So yeah, there is obviously dry weather across the province. Some crops are a little more tolerant, so our cereal crops will push their roots down deeper to try and access that subsoil moisture. Crop like canola needs cooler and wetter temperatures when it's flowering. Otherwise, we can have what's called heat blast, where those flowers will just reduce to nothing and won't set seeds. So that's kind of the state we're in. Is we'd like as much rain as we could kind of right now and to finish us off to the end.
Right now we're in a trade war with the U.S. and also China. So how has that affected farmers' plans for the year? Have you heard of farmers deciding to plant a different crop this year?
Yeah, so talked to farmers across the province, and some have kind of scaled back on certain crops, say canola, for example, due to market uncertainty. So they've replaced that for, say, a cereal crop or soybeans, which don't require as much nitrogen fertilizer.
Okay.
So just kind of rejigging, not major swings, but anywhere 10 to 20% of their acres just to a different crop to kind of try and mitigate some of that risk.
What do you want people to know about the important work that you do right now and how you are dealing with some hardships?
Yeah, just that farming isn't just a one-year thing. It's generational, multi-generational in most cases. We work with the land and the environment. We care about it. And we want to be able to help feed the world, and we really take pride in our work and hope that market, trade, everything can sort itself out and we get a little bit of rain.
And you're also watching prices right now quite closely because of what's going on with trade wars around the world. What has that meant to you with your own crops that are sitting in bins right now? Yeah, so obviously looking at the markets every day, phone updates, email, podcasts, news, everything. Kind of tracking it. On our farm, we've done break-even costs for every crop, so kind of looking at where does that price out based on our anticipated yield. I know some people are looking at taking out what's called a cash advance, so that's an option the federal government, CCGA, offers, and that's on stored grains, so that's just to kind of take out in advance on pre-selling that crop to get you through to pay some bills and whatnot. So overall, it's looking good, but we need more moisture. Looking good, but positive. We need some rain. Okay, Jake, thanks for sharing this with us. And again, Terry, we're getting some rain today?
Well, we got some rain today, some very light rain today, probably nowhere near as much as what was needed. 16 degrees right now with winds out of the north-northeast, 36 kilometers per hour is what they're gusting to, with the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 94%. That rain has already seemed to taper off. Now I've been noticing that smoky aroma when I step outside, more so than I did when that rain was falling. But you can see the air quality map, some improvements here in that most of those advisories have been lifted that Environment Canada had issued for the last several days now, still lingering with the advisories in the northeast and the southeast. We do have those straight up warnings in areas to the west of us, and I've been saying it's just a matter of winds shifting before more of that smoke settles back in again. Here's a look at the satellite image, and you can see where that rain is moving, still coming down in areas, the darker green that you're seeing, areas just to the south and even to the west of us. We'll see, maybe Winnipeg will be in the path of that. If it moves just a little bit further north, we could get another round of precipitation. That threat of showers will be there. I shouldn't call it a threat. That welcome of showers will be there throughout the course of the morning, but then clearing into the afternoon. 20 degrees are expected high as northeast winds are expected to remain strong, up to 50 kilometers per hour throughout the day. 10 degrees is where we'll fall to overnight, with those winds starting to taper off. Once it clears this afternoon, it remains so overnight, and even through tomorrow, mostly sunny conditions expected. But still a little bit cool and a little bit below seasonal, with 26 degrees being normal for this time of year. We'll remain below that number throughout the rest of the week. Maybe another round of precipitation, hopefully by the end of the week, and then temperatures back up to seasonal as we're looking ahead to the weekend. Thank you, Terry. A 37-year-old man is dead following a shooting in the Interlake. RCMP were called to a residence in Teulon Sunday night. They found a man who had been shot and rushed him to hospital, but he died. Mounties in the area spotted a vehicle believed to have been involved in the shooting and tried to pull it over. A brief chase ensued, which ended with the vehicle holed up in a cornfield. Police surrounded the field and eventually arrested a 24-year-old man. The suspect is now in custody, and RCMP say they aren't looking for any more suspects. It could be a sign of the times at a Sobeys on Kenaston Boulevard. A sign on a shelf says Bix pickles are not available because of tariffs, and Sobeys is not the only food retailer seeing the effects of tariffs.
When the new stock started to come in is when we started to notice hikes in things like orange juice, yogurts, anything that really would come from the United States.
Earlier this year, President Donald Trump imposed tariffs on a number of Canadian goods, including aluminum and steel, for which Canada retaliated. Braden Haleko says those tariffs are pushing up the price of some of the staples on his store shelves and affecting availability. This Sobeys on Keniston Boulevard has a sign on one of their shelves that reads, Bix pickles are currently unavailable as an unfortunate impact of tariffs. We are pleased to offer a selection of alternatives for your shopping convenience. Food professor Sylvain Charlebois says tariffs are taking a toll.
If you go to the grocery store right now in Winnipeg, you'll see coffee prices are much higher because of counter tariffs.
CTV News has reached out to Sobeys regarding pickle availability, and we're waiting for a response. Pickle maker Bix was a Canadian company, but it was sold to U.S. interests in 2004, and production moved stateside in 2010. It's back to court once again for Hudson's Bay, this time to fight to keep the sale of its leases to Vancouver billionaire Ruby Liu. One of the Bay's biggest lenders will ask the courts to terminate the sale of the company's leases to Liu, accusing the retailer of mishandling its liquidation process. The lender is also seeking a court-appointed oversight as the retailer winds down its business. The Bay maintains the deal with Liu is the best shot it has at paying back its creditors. A visit to family in Canada has turned into a nightmare for a man from New Hampshire. He's stuck on this side of the border after U.S. agents barred him from returning home. CTV's Josh Smith on the reasons why and the man's biggest fear about remaining in Canada.
Definitely has made a tremendous mountain out of a molehill.
Chris Landry had hoped to be back home in New Hampshire by now, but his visit to see his family near Shediac has been extended after he was turned away at the border.
I was absolutely shocked. I've crossed the same port of entry since 2007 with no issues at all.
Landry has lived in the States since he was 3 and has a green card and works in manufacturing. He says border guards in Holton told him he couldn't enter because of a marijuana conviction nearly 20 years ago.
It's terrible. It's, everything in my life is essentially put on hold. But my primary concern right now is, how's my family going to survive at home without me?
Moncton lawyer and former Justice Minister Mike Murphy was surprised to hear about the situation.
It really concerns me because now Canada is being treated like really every other nation in the world, despite our social and economic integration.
Murphy has some advice for Canadians living in the U.S.
I would suggest that they look very carefully at trying to become U.S. citizens, that they look deeply into their past.
Right now, Landry is trying to clear those old charges so he can get back to his partner and 5 children.
I'm hopeful that, we can get this cleaned up and I can go home and resume my life, my quiet life, just going to work and raising my kids and trying to provide a good future for them.
Landry says he's never applied for citizenship because he's a 3rd-generation green card holder, and this has never been a problem before. But if he's allowed back home, it is one of the first things he'll do. Josh Smith, CTV News, Shediac, New Brunswick.
Here's a look now what's happening in traffic along St. Mary's Road. Look at that. Traffic volumes have picked up, but overall, things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about. Let's look now at gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.31. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.30. The lowest price in the city is $1.24. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and attach your seat for value of your car.
Back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Manitoba Museum. You're in the Planetarium area right now. Lots going on there this summer. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Yeah, it's a quick jaunt. There's 2 new Planetarium shows, and one is made in-house. You're going to have to check it out. I'm joined by Mike Jensen right now outside of the virtual reality area. And oh my gosh, the things that you're going to learn about orcas, kind of walk us through. This is the entrance right now. How does it all work?
So Critical Distance is a virtual reality experience. And basically, we wanted to bring the experience of being an orca in the ocean to our visitors. So they come into the experience, we get them settled with a few housekeeping things, and then they put on the headsets and we start the presentation, and it's about a 10-minute long experience where they get to basically live with the orcas and see and hear what they experience, and it's a great way to learn about what's the impact that is being had on the orcas.
That's being done through sound, of course, with vision as well. I'm going to take it for a spin. Full disclosure, I've already tried it, and it's awesome. So pretend like it's my very first time.
Yeah, okay. Well, you want to stay within the white circle, and that's, of course, because the headsets will recognize the space around us here. But basically, all you need to do is just enjoy and interact with what's going on around you. So I will, you ready to do this?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get the headset on you here. I'm just going to place this over top of your head.
So currently I'm already seeing fish, and I know that it's such an odd thing to see someone seeing a whole other world. I'm underwater right now, but that's essentially what it's doing for folks. Yeah. How much is sound, I'm not listening right now, but incorporated as well to the educational bit of it?
Well, the whole point is to talk about how orcas echolocate, or use sound waves to sort of measure distances and figure out where things are from each other. So the whole point of the sound is to be able to hear what they hear, experience what they experience, not only between each other, but between humans and their activities and how they interact with the orcas. So you're going to see a lot of orcas here. They're coming around. There's Kiki appearing right in front of us there. And at first she's a little shy. She's not sure of who we are, but eventually she's going to move in. We can just sort of reach out right now and just sort of touch her, and it's quite the experience. And eventually she's going to bring her family of J-Pod around and introduce us to them as well, because she's going to see us as one of them. She's going to think that we are just another creature living in the ocean and experiencing with her.
Okay, thank you. I always picture somebody watching their television on mute, and then they're just seeing me with one of these headsets. I'm like, I swear I'm touching an orca right now. I swear, I really am. I can you can vouch.
We believe
you gotta come to the museum.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Too much fun. And it's so fun to just be there and just check things out and touch things, and I love the place.
Right? What a gem to have here right in our community, especially since we're facing a summer that isn't necessarily ideal to be spending every day outdoors. I mean, this morning a little bit of drizzle. Rain's not going to hurt anybody. In fact, flowers very much welcome it, so does the earth itself. But when we've been dealing with the smoke, and we have found some conditions that are just kind of sending you back indoors, to have a space like the museum to be able to go and spend some time, burn off some steam. I mean, kids are out of school, and this is the time that they're going to be looking for something fun. Anyway, back to what's happening outside. A little bit campy smelling out here. The smoke warnings have all, for the most part anyway, lifted. Some areas of the northeast and southeastern Manitoba remain with that advisory in effect. You can see the wind blowing. Yeah, it's not just my Beyonce moment up here. Breeze is going to be on the stronger side today, out of the northeast at times, gusting to 36 clicks right now. It could get even stronger throughout the day today, but again, the direction of the winds could very much usher more of that smoke in. A northeast wind, and we know we've got that fire situation still in areas through parts of central and northern Manitoba. And so depending on where that smoke is and where the winds are coming from, we could certainly notice more of that smoke increasing. As far as the conditions go this morning, sure, it's been a little bit damp. I wouldn't call it soggy. It's just been some light drizzle, and it's pretty much tapered off now, at least in Winnipeg. We have still been watching some activity in areas to the south and to the west of us, so still very much welcoming more of that rain in any place that it wants to fall. Mother Nature, please. Anyway, central and northern Manitoba, less likely to see it with a mix of sun and cloud today. Below seasonal temperatures for everybody, though, so there's some good news, because we don't need a whole lot of heat when we're dealing with this fire situation, but we are getting some of that heat back again by the time the weekend rolls around. Temperatures back to seasonal. The rest of this week, though, just a little bit cooler than that. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
New this morning, according to Statistics Canada, the annual pace of inflation rose to 1.9% in June as consumers were paying more at car dealerships. The June price hike is up from 1.7% in May and was largely in line with economists' expectations. StatsCan says gasoline prices were nearly unchanged in June as higher crude oil prices and geopolitical conflicts ratcheted up pressure at the pumps. This afternoon, the Prime Minister is expected to convene the Incident Response Group to discuss the ongoing threat of the massive wildfires. CTV's Andrew Johnson on where thousands of people are being held hostage by flames.
In Manitoba, there are hundreds of kilometers of scorched earth and thousands of people on the run, hoping to soon return home.
Sooner the better for everybody here.
There are 12,000 Manitobans from 8 communities living in limbo, holed up in different cities, wherever room can be found.
Manitoba currently has over 6,000 individuals in hotels, occupying over 2,100 hotel rooms in Manitoba. And there are 1,300 people in hotel rooms in Ontario.
The newest arrivals over the weekend came from the northern Garden Hill First Nation. It's unreachable by road, so they've been flown to Winnipeg with help from the Canadian Forces. There is also help on the front line, fire crews from Australia, New Zealand, and Mexico. In Saskatchewan, Lake Country is on high alert with a fire threatening Prince Albert National Park. A portion of the park is closed, and 40 kilometers away, people in the resort town of Waskesiu are looking over their shoulders.
I'm staying positive. I live close to the lake. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but it's scaring away some of the crowd here. You can tell the campground's kind of cleared out.
In BC, relief for the people of Princeton and the province's southwest. Dozens of families were forced to leave with flames as close as 300 meters from homes. They got the all clear to return, grateful for fire crews.
Those guys flew right into the night. They brought the guys in with night vision. They worked right through, I think, about 1 o'clock last night, 2:30 the night before, just pounding this fire to keep it away from town.
2025 is on pace to be the second most severe fire season ever. 53,000 square kilometers of Canadian land has burned. That's more than twice the yearly average, and it's only July. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
If you're looking for a new adventure to add to your list this summer, you may want to check out Moonlit Canopy. I'm joined by owner Cassandra Jameson this morning. Cassandra, welcome, and I'm happy to have this chat with you because I have just spent the last little while all over your website. Oh my goodness, what an incredible thing you have going on. Share with everybody what Moonlit Canopy is about.
Hi, good morning. Well, we have 3 geodesic domes on the edge of Pleasant Valley. So we're at the south end of Pelican Lake in the southwest corner of Manitoba.
Cassandra, I'm not a camper. That's just not my thing. But what you've got going on is kind of next level. It's more of a glamping experience, isn't it?
Absolutely. Each of our units have been fully furnished. So we've got a love seat, sitting area, kitchenette, beautiful king-size bed overlooking the golf course, as well as a queen bed in our loft.
And it's elevated too, from what I could tell, right? Like, it's not even like this is situated on the ground.
No, that was part of our design concept, is that we wanted to create a truly unique experience built kind of in the treetops on the edge of the valley. And it just kind of gives it a little more, like you said, elevated experience.
And I mean, even just from seeing the view behind you, you're immersed in nature. And it looks like this might be a little bit rainy and drizzly out there right now today. How cozy is that?
It is. Yeah, absolutely. We're welcoming the rain right now, but it really, really makes the experience that much more unique. One of my favorite seasons is winter. You may not think sitting in a little a dome, I guess at -30 is cozy, but it's really, really beautiful. The snow's falling. It's like a little globe. And yeah, it's wonderful all year round.
Okay, so let's talk about that then too, both summer and winter. Aside from a fun little, kind of retreat tucked in nature where you're able to unplug, what else can you do around there?
Sure. So summertime, we are located right on Pleasant Valley Golf Course. So our domes look out to hole number 9 and 18. The community is incredible here. So access to a public beach, there's boating, fishing, and of course there's operators on the lake that we partner with who have rentals, along with kayaks, all your outdoor summer activities. As we move through fall into winter, that'll transition to snowmobiling, ice fishing. Again, going back to one of our partners, there is a snow bear operator who will even come to the domes and pick up our guests. So yeah, snowshoes, yeah, really anything. It's just a nice area to be.
So cool, so unique, so elevated, as I mentioned, like not that rustic experience, but a little bit rustic, just kind of bougier than that. If people are interested and want to find out more or maybe book an experience with you, how do they go about doing that?
For sure. So they can visit our website, moonlightcanopy.com, or of course any of our social medias, Facebook and Instagram. And if they want to give us a call at the office, that is absolutely fine, okay, or as well. But that's probably the best way to get a hold of us or find out more.
Cassandra, I am so happy that we had this chat, because myself, I am totally stoked about this, and I'm going to put your experience on my bucket list too. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Didn't that look cozy with those little rain droplets falling behind her? We've been seeing a little bit of that light rain so far this morning. 16 degrees north-northeast winds, 36 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 94%. I was less cozy when I was just standing there on the rooftop with my umbrella. Imagine a whole little dome over you. Wouldn't that be nice? Anyway, the possibility still of some more precipitation. Looking at the satellite image right now, you can see what I'm talking about. Into the afternoon, all of this should be pretty much over and off to the east of us, and then we'll see some clearing behind it later on today. But that clearing won't amount to a whole lot of heat. The temperatures all throughout this week remaining a little bit below seasonal. 26 degrees normal for this time of year, and we'll get back to those numbers as we're wrapping up the weekend and looking ahead to next week. But some cooler weather, which isn't a bad thing given the fire situation. Slightly clearer weather. We could use more rain, and maybe by the end of the week on Friday, and then yes, it will be heating up once we're rolling into the weekend itself. Taking a break, we'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
All right, Terry, let's wrap this up. We kick things off with age-old enemies who now play together thanks to a common toy. This toy combines the things both animals love, for the cat knocking things off tables and for the dog,
no
fetch.
Way.
This
oh my
duo
goodness.
have it all worked out and can play together for hours. Look at this. Oh my gosh. That's
what a brilliant pairing.
You don't even have to worry about them. They just keep each other busy.
And keep you entertained.
Exactly.
I watch that all day.
Exactly. Well, doing chores is always hard, especially with pets. A chore for the human, but it's playtime for these ferrets. Watch Moon and Nala run and jump and grab onto the sheets as it gets placed onto the bed. It looks like their owner is having just as much fun as they are. Look at those little faces.
They are cute. I hear they're smelly though.
Oh, maybe.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
And lastly, there's always one friend who wants a ride, even in the animal kingdom.
The world, shining, shimmering.
Check out this passenger princess. One seagull is taking a break from flying and coasting on the back of its friend.
No.
What? How?
Question what you see, folks. Question what you see.
That is weird. Well, that does it for us. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.